And we are not live. This is pre-recorded, but backed by popular demand. There you go, right there. Jay Swans, me and him about to sit down and just chop it up like we always do. We're always having conversations. We wanted you guys to listen in on some of the shit that we talk about. And so it's about to happen. Let's get into it. And we are live. What's good, y'all?
Welcome to I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all.
What's good, brother?
Yo, that's crazy, man. There's a whole lot going on with that intro.
Hey, man, Shushu hooked that up, man. Brother Grio's got all the footage together and started it, and then I went to Shushu, and she finished it, man, intro and outro, bro.
Same, man, because that gave me, like, PTSD. I grabbed my PlayStation controller and was like, yo, I was trying to move it around.
Get ready. Like, yeah, we're going to play now, man.
I was like, we doing this.
Man,
we doing this.
I never even played games like that, bro. I ain't played games for real since Atari 5200, man.
Oh, wow. It's changed a little bit since then.
Yeah, it looked like movies, bro. Like you playing real movies.
Yeah, for real. And but I play like an adult when I play games. Though, I wait till like 2:00 in the morning when my wife is asleep and I can't sleep.
Oh, okay. That's how that works.
You can't sneak it when you've been married for like 20 years. You can't sneak it like the old days. You roll over and like, what's this? You try that shit and that should be like, you better go to sleep with that.
Yeah, so right to the video games. I guess I'll play Star Trek.
Seriously,
that's crazy, bro. Yeah, you had me playing that fighting game or whatever, man. Up there, I was like, bro, what? No, it was the shooting game too. Like it was like had the VR headset on, man. Was trying to shoot zombies. Like, man,
this is real. That's that VR joint. Yeah, that's over there too. I got that too. Once again, this stuff be collecting dust. It don't do nothing for like a month, and then all of a sudden it be time to play. So,
bro, back there you can't see it, but behind me, that's the Xbox.
That's the original Xbox.
I don't know how original it is. That's the third Xbox I had. One got stolen by the crazy person that we don't talk about.
Oh yeah. The Duchess of Dumbass.
Yeah, Duchess of Dumbasses stole one. One got stolen by some movers. I moved, and one of the movers actually stole it. That's one of the things we could probably talk about one of these days. Like, be careful who you hire to move your stuff, and it, you know what I mean. People be getting these discount movers or whatever, and then I bought that one, and my daughter doesn't even play it, so she don't even touch it.
Yeah, like I said, I barely play mine, man. Ned got that for me. It's like I said, once a month it comes out for like half an hour, then my head start to hurt.
Yeah, well,
then I'll go in the garage with the motorcycle. I'll be out there tinkering with it.
Oh, bro, man, I tell you what, bro. Do you think about the unit, man? You think about Bravo Company anymore, man, or the stuff you were doing after Bravo Company? You miss any of the missions, bro? You think like,
yeah, I mean, come on, bro. Like, okay, I hated it when I was there, man. Like, I hated being cold. I hated doing PT. I hated dealing with knuckleheads because most of the people in the military, it's like high school where you get paid. You know what I'm saying? So, but looking back on it, that stuff was fun, man. Come on, you get to jump out of an airplane and get to play on helicopters and get to run around the woods with a gun. I mean, come on, it's fun. I don't know, man. I do miss it. I do, and I miss hanging out with the fellas because that's one thing. Like you can hang out with. I mean, everybody was cool. We had weirdos, but they was like cool weirdos. They was our weirdos. Right. Like you got an ugly dog, but it's my dog kind of thing.
Right.
That's what it was, man. I mean, thinking back, like Rock. Rock was all ripped up, everything else. Rock was weird. All right, he'd just be sitting in the corner quiet, looking like Wesley Snipes from Blade.
Yeah, for real. Oh, puffed up and everything. Like, dude was ripped up and everything. But I'm pretty sure Rock wound up getting married and all that good stuff and had a family and all that. But
Rock's probably a correction officer, a police officer somewhere. That's what Rock is.
Well, he went Greens to go, right? So he had a commission. So I'm sure he was. Yeah. If he was a cop, he would have been like in charge of cops, kind of thing.
For real. Well, I was talking to somebody the other day, and and I was talking about Doss. That night when they was all rowdy doing that thingy thing. Yeah. Blair come busting in the room. Y'all want some of this? But I was like, but no, I do miss it. you know, I mean, I do miss it. You know, I mean, who wouldn't? You know, I mean, you get to be you get to be an Army guy. You know, that stuff was fun. I mean,
That
would I
was
go
fun.
back? Yeah, I would love to go back.
Our
Yeah, but
bodies,
you
our
know, my
bodies
body's
couldn't
paying
handle it.
for it.
Yeah, our bodies couldn't handle it. I mean, I was thinking about that the other day. Like, bro, everything you said, I agree with. And the only thing I would add to that is the having purpose. That was the biggest thing about at least what we did. You know what I mean? And just having purpose when it was a bunch of bullshit work going on, but when a real mission came, we were the ones of the few dudes that would always get the call. You notice that every time it was a real mission, certain names got called to go.
Every time there was a real mission, every time there was drama, you know, every time it was like Swanson, Lewis. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, like we ain't nothing to do with that. I mean, it's like, why y'all talking?
Every time, man. I was telling somebody that I'm like, I don't know what it was, but it seemed like our names is always popping up somewhere. And
always popping up. We weren't even there. Like we were like when we got off, we was off. Like we weren't even in the state. So
when that thing went down, you know, when that all them dudes and that, you know, all that stuff was going. I'm trying to like not get you demonetized.
Yeah. I mean, but we could say what it was. I mean, some it was grown up people doing grown up stuff, and it was a train involved with one person and a bunch of dudes. And that's one of the things that, because think about it,
passed around the barracks. They got
yeah. There was a train, and then it was also being passed around the barracks, and
it was a bullet train, boy. That was work. But I mean, we wasn't even in that. We was like watching Martin or something, watching video. We wasn't even in that. And you know, Swanson Lewis. I'm like, what made you? Do we look like we need to participate in that?
Yeah, we ain't got nothing to do with that.
I can go get my own candy, bro. You know what I mean?
We got nothing to do with that. Yeah, that was a mess. And the thing is, with the way the laws are structured today, I mean, that happened back in like 1993. Bruh. That could probably come back up again.
Yeah, for real. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for real. Like I said, I look back on some of that stuff, like the drama I hear about now, like these soldiers, you know, like doing stuff to these female soldiers and stuff like that. I'm like, I really sit back and think, was that going down? I don't think that was going down, because we had every woman we had around us, it was like, you know, we were trying to holler at them. But, you know, like if somebody got out of line or out of pocket, like we was always right there to deal with that. You know what I mean? Like,
but think about it though. But we weren't in those units though. We weren't in COSCOM. We weren't in those like supply units. We weren't in those units, the medical units that had the high number of female soldiers either.
Yeah, we didn't have a lot. So, you know, the ones around us, we was cool with. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like there's way more drama now. But I mean, it could be getting reported more.
I was going to say that. It's getting reported more and believed more. Maybe it's being reported in the same numbers, but back then, yeah, leadership would sweep it under the rug or whatever. Someone gets transferred to a different unit, you know, whatever. But now it's like, now we got this protocol. We have to do these things.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm sitting there thinking like, I mean, I know there was this little girl I was hollering at when I got to AIT. You know, I saw her, you know, graduation and basic training. And then, you know, so we're on the bus, you know, going down to Rucker. And, you know, so I'm on the bus putting in work. You know, got my headphones, you know, my Jodeci bumping. You know, I'm like, you want to hear some Jodeci? I'm putting in work, right? And she was into it, but she would like, you know, she would never kind of let me holler really. Come to find out, you know, she was messing with the drill sergeant in basic. Like, dude was coming down to see her on the weekends and all kinds of stuff. And so I mean, I guess like the sergeant, the older dudes, you know, hollering at the younger girls. I guess that was a thing, but that's the thing in real life, though.
Yeah, so, they're still doing that.
But I mean, yeah. So I mean, so that kind of stuff is definitely going on. You know, you got the 23-year-old E5 hollering at the 18-year-old, you know, private. You know, let me take you aside and show you how to really do this kind of stuff, you know. But I mean, it just seems like it's next level now. So you're right. Maybe they are just telling more about it, and then, you know, it's getting out there. I don't know, man.
I think it's more. I think it's protocol. I think that, you know, the senior NCOs and the officers, you know, command structure has no say in the matter. Like if someone makes this type of report, you must do this. And I think that's more what's going on now.
Yeah.
And, you know, for better or worse, I think it's a good thing. But the problem is now you inadvertently give a lot of power to people who are looking for ways out, if that's what they're looking to do. So if you have a female soldier who is just fed up and they want to go to another unit, all they got to do is say, Sergeant so-and-so touched me.
Touch me. You know what I mean? Or if you don't want to get deployed, I'm pregnant. Just go.
Well,
we saw that. We saw that. We was in no. They don't want to go where they just got pregnant. Yeah. It just killed me when you hear stories about women getting pregnant on deployment. And I'm like, when was y'all doing that? I mean, it only takes a second, I guess. When was y'all doing that? And
in the woods, in the desert, you know what I mean? Back in the rear with the gear. Like, come on, bro, on the bird. I mean, I remember when we got in country, they put us on a C-130 to fly us from KKMC to, I think they flew us to Riyadh or something like that. And bro, if I'd have been in the back of that C-130 with a hot little something, it was just us.
You're right, because I was trying to get it in on that, that little bus ride. So, you're right.
Right, y'all have been in that little bathroom in the back trying to figure it out. You know what I mean?
I said, all I need is about 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Just, I didn't know that then. Then I was trying to put in work. V's the one that taught me how to do that. What does he say? If you in there longer than 45 seconds, you bullshitting.
You bullshitting.
Get yours,
shout out to V.
Get out.
Shout out to V, bro. Wow. But yeah, man. But I was just thinking about that the other day. Yesterday, in fact, I'm like, man, I miss going on a mission. Like I was watching this thing on YouTube, which was originally done on History Channel, and it was talking about a massive solar flare hits the planet. They were saying about once a century or so, there'll be a massive solar flare that'll hit the Earth. And now, because the Earth runs on electricity, it could basically destroy the way of life that everyone's gotten accustomed to and kill billions. And I'm kind of watching this thing and I'm like, I think they're going a little bit too far, but it just got me thinking about military. So,
I mean, that's real. Like that's what they teach you how to build. What is it? Those Faraday cages where you keep your electronics in and stuff like that in case of the solar flare.
Yes.
Because, I'd be getting my conspiracy radio on, my Art Bell, my Clyde Lewis, I'd be getting it in. But that's a real thing.
I was thinking, I mean, bro, do we got to add that to our contingency plan? Because I'm like, we ain't got a contingency for this. Like, if that were to happen, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna send it to you. Because if I put it on this stream, they'll shut it down or something like that. You know what I mean? But the theory is all of the electronics, like all of the transformers are blown out. No electricity works. What are you going to do? Because that means no electricity. That means no food because you can't keep it cold. You know what I mean? No gas because the pumps don't work. No water because the sewage goes down. You know what I mean? Complete calamity. So what do you do?
You go find that person that talks about they have all this food in the food pantry at their house and they don't believe in guns and take their stuff. That's what you do.
What are you going to do with it? They got all the food, but there's no place to keep it cool. So, you need
to get to cooking. Get to hanging that meat on the line and let it try. You better have one. I'm looking up on my little bookshelf now. So you better have one of those. What are the Cowboys Guide to First Aid and Health? One of them things. Get one of them books and learn how to cook, man. I mean, that's crazy. Like the contingency plan is. I suggest you get on them 1s and 2s and start heading north. You know what I'm saying?
Because you got enough gas in your vehicle to get.
Well, no, because you got to get it started. Your vehicle's electric. It's funny, like because I got these Teslas, right? And everybody's like, "Well, if this happens, your Tesla ain't gonna work." Yeah, your car ain't gonna work neither. It's all electric. I mean, the engine runs on gas, but you got to get it started.
So you're saying the solar flare would short your vehicle, so you would need a new starter. So and all the starters would be messed up because they're all exposed to the flare.
It's an EMP, right?
Basically, yeah.
Pulse. So I don't know how cars work because I'm not that bright. I'm just cute. But I know that if there's a solar flare, anything that's electronic is not going to work. And 99, I bet you 90. Let's say 90. Let's be conservative. 90% of cars on the road, it's all electronics. They're all computers. They
didn't even cover that part. That part of what you're just saying right there, which makes sense. Damn.
Yeah, dirt bikes. I mean, like the dirt bikes that you kickstart, some kind of dirt bike. I mean, they might work. I'm guessing, but other than that, I mean, like everybody's gonna be stuck. And think about how much stuff. I mean, I bet you don't even realize how much electronics you use every day in everyday life. Like turn this.
100% of your life is is governed by some sort of electronic
Yeah,
device.
the gas line that goes into, because people are like, well, I got a gas stove. The gas line that goes into your house, you know what I mean? It's controlled by electronics, the flow and everything else. You know, I mean, I'm looking around now. Like everything up in here, you know, I mean, my drink machine, that Bartesian, you know, the thing you put the pods in, you know what I mean? That's got a computer in it.
I mean, the AC, the heat, everything that we take for granted is run by electricity.
Yeah. And I mean, bro, just sit back and imagine, like, if you didn't have electricity for one day, like, okay, I think the like what is it, the disaster relief thing or the Red Cross or whoever came up with a scenario where people are cool for like 3 days. Like the power goes out, you know, the first day everybody's kind of like laughing, whatever, the power be on in the morning. The second day, everybody's like, oh, look, the power's going off, the fridge ain't working. Let's have a barbecue. We got to cook this meat up. It's defrosting. By the third day, people start running out of food, start running out of water and that sort of stuff. And they start getting a little froggy then. You know, everybody comes together in the beginning, but, you know, eventually everybody's going to go for theirs. You know, I mean, how far are you willing to go to protect your family?
And that's pretty much what the TV show was trying to express. Like everything you just said was in the show. Like everybody came together. They all went over to the prepper's house because they got extra generators and this and that. And it's like, well, how's the generator work? Because you make a good point. If the generator was exposed to the EMP blast.
Well, remember were they 1.5Ks, the little small joints that we had to pull
the ones we had to put the Mo gas in? Okay, so they probably would work. Yeah,
they probably, I mean, because I don't think there's anything electronic, but the big ones, the big 15K ones that had like the buttons and everything, that might not work. But, you know, I don't know, man. Like it would definitely be interesting. That's why, you know, when I have these conversations, like you be telling me, like, stop telling people that, you know, they get froggy, you know, they'll get wet.
Yeah, like, we know what's going on, but don't tell them.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's amazing, like how many people will talk big and talk bad, but you know, when something goes down. I mean, okay, so like now we talk about like a lot of these cats like you're working with now, right? And you know, they have, you know, I have 1,100 friends on Instagram, right? And I'm like, yo, they're not really your people. You know what I mean? Unless you know that, you know, like your people, something happens, your people gonna be there. You know what I mean? And you ain't got to do like on TV, avenge me. Now your people already making plans. You ain't got to say avenge me. Your people already making plans to handle that. Unless you got those people are your friends. You know what I mean? The ones that are like, yo, man, like, you know, if you call me and it's like, yo, this is what happened. You know what I'm saying? You know, something happened to Mia. You know, I need you here now. Bro, you ain't got to tell me what we doing or where it's at. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna know. I'm just gonna show up with a biscuit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what we doing? Nah, bro, she sprained her ankle really bad. And she just, okay.
Either way.
Let me put that back. My bad.
Either
I thought
way.
we were gonna do something. You know, the phone cut off. I just heard something happen to me and the phone cut off. I'm like, oh, okay, we good.
And moving forward, I keep the names. I don't say the names. No, just because, you know, they can get online with and match names up. That's why I like, you know, that's why I'm like, be careful. But y'all out there, like, that's why I like with you two, it's like, Carl, you already put it out there, but I didn't.
I thought you did that already. I thought you already did it. Oh, my bad.
That's all good. You know what I mean? But it's
my bad. But yeah, but that's what I mean, though. You know what I mean? Like that's your friends. Your friends ain't some dude online looking at your pictures. Because most of them dudes, I mean, most of them cats are just haters for real. Like they just want to see what you're doing so they can hopefully be mad at you for failing. But you know,
they do. People do like seeing you fail, though. That is true, though. But like just to tie up what we were talking about. I guess the rally point is your place. If that were to happen, because they say that we're due for a big solar flare.
Well, that's what we talked about that, right? I thought we talked about that because I mean,
yeah, but we didn't talk about this. We talked about everything else, but I never thought of it before. But yeah, just so you know, like the rally point's your place. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean that makes sense because you got too many cats around where you are. You know what I mean? I'm up here in the sticks.
But the thing is, it's like me getting to the sticks. It's like, I don't know, I might have to get one of those kick dirt bikes or something.
Kick dirt bikes. No, I mean, you think about it. You could walk. I mean,
we can come up there. It'll take maybe a day and a half.
Days. Yeah. No, I take probably about 3 days because you're talking. I mean,
I am older. I can't hump.
Yeah, and you know, you got
little ones.
So I mean, it take a couple days, but I mean, you know, and I got a bunch of billies up here. And for y'all who don't know what billies are, if you think real hard, you'll figure it out.
No, they won't.
There's hills.
It's like a big old difference.
There's hills and there's billies. So, but yeah, Yeah, I mean, definitely. This is where all the toys are. So,
Yeah. And that's another thing I'll be humping with my toys. I'm like, that'd be one hell of a hump. But hey,
you
it's
can't take them all. I mean, you can only carry one or two.
I'll have the sidearms, and then I'll have a couple long ones. I can carry that. You know what I'm saying?
And then you got to carry ammo for it.
But that's fine. I'll be
Yeah,
dragging that along.
then
Give
you
me a
got to
wagon.
carry food.
Get a wagon, drag that along. Just enough food for a couple days to get up there. You know what I mean? But if the vehicles work, it's different. We just load up the vehicle and we're just there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then you got to fight with traffic.
I mean, traffic. I don't think no one's gonna move and go anywhere right away.
Well,
and that was the other thing too. Like I would be thinking the safest place to go would be to a military installation.
Like everybody else going there though. And then,
but still, that's where you'll still have some form of control. You will have structure and security. So you just set up a camp outside on the perimeter of, and they'll be able, and plus they'll be able to move around because they're going to be able to replace stuff.
Well, depending on what the event is, though, you know what I mean. Like it depends on what the event is, because the military might be like, "Yo, our job is to protect this. Y'all sit out there and fend for yourselves." I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I just don't trust a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like it's, I trust people I can put my hands on. And like even up here, I got friends up here, but like if stuff is going down, do I really have friends up here?
I trust the uniform code of military justice. I mean, if something like that to happen, they're like, all right, the entire country lost electricity for the foreseeable future.
Just something like that. Yeah. Well, even with that, you know what I mean? Like resources get limited and people get stupid. You know what I mean? Like I would like to have, I would like to be near a military facility, but I'm not trying to be that close because people get stupid.
Yeah, people get stupid, but no one's going to try to strike the military installation. And if they do, they'll learn very quickly that they made a mistake. You know what I mean? So
now they just hit the people around it. You know what I mean? Think about, they're going to hit the people around it and that sort of thing that the military is going to be going through. I mean, look, I know if I was in the military now and I had a wife and kids, I'm going to get them, and I'll be damned if anybody stops you from bringing them back to the base.
You're going to bring them back, but okay, so you look at some place like Fort Bragg or whatever they call it now, or Fort Stewart.
Liberty.
Liberty. Or whatever the big, some big seaport or whatever. Like here, they got the big Air Force base down here.
Yeah.
So the orders would come down, and I would think that the military will begin to expand. And you know what I mean? Like it start to, like, okay, we're gonna have to take control because the cities will go into chaos, like you said, after about a week. Yeah. It'll be chaos. So if you have a military installation, they got the biggest guns, they have the most manpower, they got the best trained personnel. Right.
Once again, though, like, okay, like what is it? Is it McCord down there?
Whatever. I forget what's called. Yeah.
So how many people on McCord are hitters? You know what I mean? So let's say McCord's got let's say they got 20,000 people down there. It is an Air Force base, which I'm sure it's less than that. Let's say they got 20,000 people. You know what I mean? You got like I would say 5,000 people that know how to even hold a rifle. This is an Air Force base, and everybody ain't a rifleman.
So what I would say is, once the military figures out what's going on, you're gonna start getting Marines and soldiers and sailors. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna start reallocating personnel and equipment. Because how long will it take the military to get on board? Like they're gonna be able to fix stuff and get stuff moving again.
Bruh, you talking about like 2024 Congress and everybody working together?
They're gone. Congress is done. Think about that, because they can't get a hold of anybody. Congress is kind of like trying to figure out.
I'm sure they got them Faraday cage things. You know what I mean? Where you put your stuff in there so it's protected against EMP. Because the stuff that gets affected is like the stuff that like gets hit right away. Like you got your Faraday cage thing, which is like, I don't know, like I learned how to make it once, but that stuff is fine. I mean, after the EMP, after the solar flare, whatever, the stuff that was protected will still work. So they'll still have their stuff. They'll still have their communication, but it's just like, I mean, you're right though. I mean, because FEMA will come in and FEMA will go out there and and they'll have security like they did in Florida for that homestead stuff.
Right. Everything would flow through the military. The military will start moving, because you're right. Like, okay, how many hitters do they really have at this Air Force base over there, or whatever naval base? Right. You're gonna have to send in the people who train to do that. So the Army and the Marine Corps start divvying out folks. Space Force would be out of a job, right? Because our satellites would be burnt.
Space Force be sitting there playing with their remotes, like, dang, this ain't working.
This ain't working.
Like, hold up. I'm ready for combat. Let's go.
Right. Space Force.
Let's go.
So, but no, I think I would in that type of situation, like the TV show made it seem just hopeless. It's never going to be that big because I'm like, well, they never mentioned the military, at least in the United States. Now, rest of the world, it might be bad, but think about it, the United States to start bringing everybody home. Like, okay, we're going to leave all these bases. We're coming home because we're going to have to take care of America because every country is vulnerable. Anyone can be invaded.
I think the rest of the world might do better than us.
You think so?
The third world countries. You know what I mean?
You think so? You think France and Great Britain and maybe Germany?
Well, when I say America, I'm thinking, like industrialized world. You know what I mean? Like
maybe Germany. I don't think anyone else. I think maybe Germany would do good, but the rest of Europe would be messed up. Nah, Spain, Greece.
I'm thinking, like I said, I'm thinking like Argentina. You know what I mean? I'm thinking El Salvador. I'm thinking third world countries.
Oh, they're through.
They'd be like, it's a Tuesday. They used to operate without that stuff, man. You know what I mean? You've been down to
I get your point. Yeah, I get your point.
And but I think that I think like the major cities, the industrial powers, China probably do okay because China's got their thumb on everybody. So China would just be like, everybody stand at attention, and they will all just stand there and sweat. They ain't worried about AC.
I don't know because their cameras don't work. So now they don't have Big Brother anymore. So the Chinese people could rise up. I mean, because they won't be able to keep tabs on them.
Yeah, bro. But like, if someone slaps you and they keep slapping you and then they fake it one time, you're still going to flinch, right? That's China. You know what I mean? The cameras ain't there, but you know what I mean? You're still going to be a little hesitant.
Man, we went to China that one year. We were in Beijing and Shanghai. And the Chinese people, bro, like, I think the only thing keeping them in check is the fact that the government's watching them and they know it's a dude with an AK around the corner. But if you can't keep your eye on them people, like especially the people like the everyday street folks in China, man, they was ready to make a move. I mean, I'm surprised that China hasn't had some sort of revolution or something like that.
Yeah, because there's over 1 billion of them, but there's only like 100,000 guns, and the government got them all. But
right, and how many bullets do they got?
You know what's really sad though is I was just thinking something like that was to happen, man. Our people, bro, be running right to the mall and stealing purses and TVs, bro.
Oh, that's day one.
Apple store stealing cell phones, like this don't work.
None of this shit. That's day one. Like meanwhile, I'm trying to get my hands on water and canned fruit and stuff like that. But they walking around with TVs. Like you ain't gonna. It's no power, bro.
I got this 110-inch flat screen, yo, bro. You can't even plug it in.
Hey, we're not gonna have power for at least a year, maybe 2.
Be drawing pictures on chalk on the TV, like, yo, I got the biggest one though, man.
The biggest one. Hey, in 2 years, we're gonna be back, son. We got it, boy. Just wait till the electricity come back.
Telling you, that's our people, man. But that's true though. That's exactly what would happen, bro. That's exactly what would happen. But they be up there just like, come on, y'all.
Stealing all electronics is like, stealing Rolexes. Like, what are y'all doing, bro? I'm looking for water. I'm looking for ammo. I'm looking for canned, fruit. Trying to stay alive, man. But yeah, that's crazy.
That's the kind of stuff I sit back and even people that talk about, I'm prepared for this and prepared for that. And I'm like, okay, you got a bunch of ramen noodles. I mean, all right.
Yeah. And what are you gonna do for protein?
I got a guy here. He's like, man, he got like, he said he has over 50,000 rounds. And I'm like, what you gonna do with that?
We ain't gonna talk about dude. We're just gonna pass right past that. We're gonna just pass that. We ain't gonna talk about what possible future.
Okay, but I mean, but people, I'm like, what y'all? I mean, like it seems like people just don't be thinking it through. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so if you are someone that hoards like ammo, right? Someone that does that, I guess you could use it for money later.
It's currency. It's definitely currency. It's valuable.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, probably more valuable than most stuff. Cigarettes.
But he's going to need a team to help him secure his ammo.
Thank you. You know what I mean? I'm like, people don't be thinking that stuff through, man. Like, I mean, I always tell people, because like my neighbors here be asking me about all that kind of neat stuff. And what would you do if this happened? What would you do if that happened? My thing is like, I would move. I would leave. I'm not sitting in one place.
I gotta get to the woods.
Yeah, how have like how has anything survived throughout history? You know, I mean, how has the human race survived? The ones that stayed in one place are the ones that died. You
Yeah.
know, you
Yeah.
follow the game, you follow the weather. You know what I mean? You got to stay mobile. You know, you got to move to resources, and a lot of people just be sitting there like, I got 50,000 rounds. I'm just gonna sit at my house. Okay, you know what? And eventually you're gonna sleep.
Yeah.
As soon as
So
you
you need a team to secure that. And I mean, you gotta go to water, and you need to be like, you want to be in the woods and you want to be near fresh water. And if you at least you got that, at least you can eat fish, you got water to drink.
Yeah.
But most people, I mean, people ain't ready for that, bro. But
No,
that's just yeah.
bro, I ain't ready for that life. I mean,
No,
bro,
I don't
we
live
in
like that.
Florida, bro. Like, let the AC not be on for about 4 hours in July.
Shit, 4 hours today. Eventually it'll get hot. You know what I mean? Like, what's the temperature now? Probably 70 something. Eventually it'll get hot again.
It's nice. I got the windows open. But yeah, I mean, definitely, think about that. Or, it's funny whenever I hear people talk about, okay, like you were talking about that whole solar thing, but like the Civil War stuff, right? And, my son was here with his friends, and I'm watching him up here working out and running. And I'm like, these are regular mechanized troops. And they running, the whole circle of the neighborhood and sprinting. I know it's around 3 miles, the whole circle, and sprinting it and getting back in like 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes. And then coming in and working out.
And it's just regular legs, just regular mechanized legs.
I'm like, y'all talking about, and it's always that, that giant fat dude that's, got his Trump hat on, like, I'm ready. You know what I mean? Like, really? Putting his cheeseburger down when it's time, put his body armor on and to be sitting out here.
Yeah, hanging out.
Be looking like a ramp. And I'm like, man, come on, get out of here. Stop it. I mean, people just don't realize like how, how the world works. They be watching YouTube and think they can do it, and I'm like, you don't realize that all them people have been trained, they doing it they be doing it with their eyes closed. I mean, they don't realize it, Okay, think about it, like, we ain't jumped out of a plane in 30 years, but if someone told me to put on a parachute right now, bro, okay, then it would take me, what, 3 minutes, 5 minutes to put it on? You know what I mean? And it would probably be correct the first time. You know what I mean?
It'll be correct to the way we were trained. I don't know how they're being trained now. It's a different parachute.
Now they're being trained to have somebody else do it because they can't touch themselves in the crotch and pull their stuff up. I can't.
I can't hand you the fucking leg strap. I can't say left leg strap,
right
leg strap.
I wonder, on the plane, and you got to do your check and everything, and you got to say, all okay, jump master. You're supposed to slap me on the ass,
On the ass, yeah.
I wonder if you could do that now. They'd be like, tap him on the shoulder. I'm preparing to check to let you know that you are okay.
You're right. You're right, bro. Yeah, we had a fine lieutenant on one of those jumps we had. I mean, I remember sitting there thinking, like, she went in our unit. She wasn't even in our battalion. Like, it was one of those random jumps we were on. And man, she was fine.
I remember that one because I really talked about it. It was like, who goes smack her on the ass? I remember that. I was like, ooh.
She wound up smacking me on the ass. She wound up behind me, and man, she smacked me hard. She squeezed it a little bit. I was like, "Come on, LT." She was laughing.
Little squeeze.
Yeah, she was laughing. Like, "Come on, LT." She was laughing.
Tell you probably can't do that no more. Like, nah, I just want you to know that I'm gonna check your equipment, and even getting the jump master to check you. You know what I mean? That whole squat hold. Can you say squat and hold now? I said that to I said that to one of the ladies. The veterans thing. I said to one of the ladies in the office. She was talking to me, and I was like on the phone doing something, and I turned and did a whole squat and hold. I didn't think about it, and she stood there with her mouth open, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, that's an airborne thing. Sorry, my bad. I wasn't. I had too much going on, so I just squat and hold."
You would say squat and hold. Me, I'm a hold what you got kind of guy. I just hold what you got.
She probably was like, ooh.
Yeah, it's a whole nother. She thought she was getting on. Which is a whole nother conversation.
You know what that is? Get down and just yeah, she did. She was like this, ooh.
Yeah.
Probably put her
She was
elbows
like,
on
"Ooh,
the
here we
table.
go. It's my chance."
No,
No,
boo, no.
yeah. He's like, no,
But
Mary.
nah,
That's not what
that's
we're
something
doing
else.
here.
You probably can't do that. No, you did it. Now it's too late. It's out there. We done it. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But nah, really, that's a whole lot has changed, man. I mean, yeah, I'm just sitting there like I don't know how to do things anymore. Like, you know, being in the field, I had no problem. Like if I had to change clothes or something or change, you know, I just like, look, this is what it is. I'm changing my clothes. And but now, you know, you probably can't do that. I mean, because here's my thing. I don't have a problem with women in the military. I don't have a problem with women serving in combat units. If you can do it, hey, good for you. That's somebody else can get shot, right? You know, I mean, that's another target.
That's my thing. So if you can meet the standards, I don't care if you're a male or female, but those standards shouldn't change. It shouldn't be two sets of standards.
Yeah, and you can't make it like, because you know the argument I always hear is, well, can a woman carry a 200-pound guy? And my argument to that is,
I can barely carry a 200-pound
guy. I mean, seriously. And but my thing is so, but like if I need to do the stuff we do in the field, like, you know, I mean, like we got too many clothes. I'm like, okay, like on the drop zone with Pollard that time, he took it, jumped out, had all that cold weather gear on, and it was hot when we got down, and just got butt naked. You know, y'all don't realize Pollard was he was Wesley Snipes purple.
Man,
you know,
that
so
dude was that dude. Bro, I think he had Shaka Zulu DNA.
Yeah, for real, bro. He was so black you could see through him. Boy. It went the other way around, bro.
That was the only dude. That was the only dude in our unit that went through special forces selection and came back and was like, it was just like he went to PT or something. He came back, he had on his regular gear, still wearing the vest. He still had on his weighted vest. Yeah. Like, how did it go? Did you go? Like, yeah, I went. It was fun. He went through it.
Bro, that's them brothers, you know, like I said, see, now I'm about to be controversial. I'm about to get you demonetized. But
yeah, probably.
That's one of them brothers that the white folks who are slave times like, ooh, that's the one. That dude that's right the one. There. Get him.
That bid went way up. Like, yeah, we gotta pay for him. sell a couple horses. We need him.
I'm telling you, feet all calloused up, running barefoot.
Running barefoot, man. Probably like last time I saw him, he had his beret, he was Green Beret, and it went off. I never saw him again. You know what I mean?
Because they had to keep him. That was good stock. They probably kept him and bred him. Go over there and make babies. But I mean, that dude, he was on the drop zone. He took off everything. It was nighttime, so you really couldn't see him.
Couldn't see nothing.
But we could get a close hitting the ground.
It's like, why'd you wear all that stuff? I remember the last jump I was on with him, he was jumping an H harness. So, you know, like the H harness was just garbage, right? And for you guys out there wondering what's an H harness, it's a type of equipment we use to hold our gear. Yeah. In our unit back then, you had either an H harness. So it's a bunch of it looks like an H, but it's like stuff you wrap around your stuff, and you got to pull 2 tabs at the same time to get your equipment to fall. And then we had another, the more recent gear was the harness single point release, which was the best. Yeah. One tab, you pull it, and every time you pull it, it worked.
How'd you do it again?
What? Keep my hand up here. I ain't gonna have it down here.
You keep pulling, and eventually it'll release.
My single point worked every time. Those the H harness. You know, you go to pull one tab and one comes off and the other one's still on it. So Pollard was on the jump and I was on the drop zone. I'm looking up and I can see him coming down and I can hear him cursing. He's just cursing up a storm. He couldn't get this damn H harness to release his equipment. And then he looked up and he says, oh shit. And then he just does the stand and land and just hits like a superhero. Bam. Just standing there. And I just looked at him. He was like,
he was built different. He was telling you, dusting shit around him. Poof.
Yeah, just bam, like a superhero. Still couldn't get that damn H harness off. I was like, damn, Paulie, you all right, bro? He was like, yeah, man, I ain't never jumping one of these again. And he didn't.
That brother, like I said, that was something if you ever wanted to make a soldier, that's what it looked like.
That's the DNA you need right there. You need his DNA.
Because he was the one that was jogging the base. Like for PT in the morning, he come with a rucksack over running the PT in the morning. Lived off base. I knew where everybody lived I've never been to Pollard's house. You ever been over to his apartment?
Nah,
I never saw him off base. I know he lived off base. See?
No, never.
Pollard, I told you he was created in a lab. That's why
real.
they couldn't get the color right. They just made it purple.
This is why you'll never beat America, man. We got too many people like that roaming around this country, bro. It's some real hardcore folks running around this country. Like, I mean, Smack. You know what I mean? He was a specimen. Like, that dude was out there doing all kind of crazy stuff. Yo, guy, that's your man's in them.
That's why my body's all messed up now because of Smack. What you doing? Eating breakfast? No, you going PT? Let's go.
Cool. He was hard.
You know, be eating oatmeal. This is a good time to do some push-ups. You mean
right? That guy kept you together. They got you together. You know, major English. I mean, we had so many good soldiers through we were an aviation air traffic control unit, man. We had some elite dudes come through there.
Because we weren't doing air traffic. That's why.
Yeah. That's true.
Everybody looked like they were selected. You know, it's funny. You look at other air traffic controllers, and they don't look nothing like us and the guys that were in the unit. Like, I swear they selected everybody because everybody in the unit was like, because I think you were like the little guy, and you were like, what, 160, something like that?
Barely, bro. That was at the end. Like, when we got out, I was like 160.
Yeah, you were like the little guy, you know what I mean? But other than that, I mean, like, if they were short, they were like, everybody was buffed up.
Yeah,
you know what
I was tall and lanky, but yet me and V was lighter than me.
Yeah, V was like 6 pounds, soaking wet. He was 8.
Yeah, soaking wet, bro. And think about it, like I'm weighing 160 or whatever. I'm carrying 150 pounds worth of gear.
Yeah. See, and that's what it was. I mean, like I said, if you go think about like the air traffic controllers we worked with, even the ones that were in the military, like if they weren't the only guy outside the unit that was like us was Guy. And Guy was airborne. He wandered over to the airfield instead of coming to the unit like he was supposed to. But everybody, all the other controller guys were all like short and awkward, and like they were the dudes that never played any sports. But everybody in the unit, I mean, even the guys that we were like, man, you're just weak. Like, I thought Lassiter was just weak. I mean, for real. But Lassiter, you could put a ruck on Lassiter that weighed 100 pounds, and he'd be like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, he was a specimen, and we did it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Lassiter was a good soldier, man. Like, strong-willed dude. Like,
yeah, he just came across to me like he was just like he wouldn't, like, if I was picking a team, he wouldn't be picked. But you know what I mean? He's like them NBA dudes, like the white guy to be at the end of the bench waving a towel, and then finally gets in the game and will light you up.
Light you up. Like, yeah.
That was Lassiter. Like, wait, he can play?
Yeah, Lassiter just a good old boy. Like, he's just a good old boy from the South.
Yeah.
He was just real mild mannered, but yeah, that was my jump buddy, bro. Like, I had every jump I was on, Lassiter was on until I went home one weekend and y'all jumped a helicopter that weekend.
We jumped all day.
Yeah, that's
all day. It got to where I was tired of it. I'm like, man, come on, let's another one. You know what? I didn't mind the jumping part. It was the getting ready to jump. Because, you know, you got to put all that stuff on, and then, you know, and then the other part, the jump masters weren't even like, they were doing the JMPI, but they weren't doing it.
Kind of half-assed. After about the 8th time, you're probably like, whatever, bro, you good.
Yo, I swore one dude was drinking. I swore I smelled alcohol. He's like, you
probably
like this? You sure?
Probably.
This don't look right. That's the other thing too. When the silk be hanging out, I'm like, yo, this don't look right. And they come over.
Rigger comes up with that little powder.
All right.
You're fine here, boy. You're fine.
I look back on it like, you know, like Aline was a little guy, but Aline can run all day. You know what I mean? And Aline was carrying equipment. I mean, everybody, like you said, everybody was carrying. And because I mean, I bet you, like I said, I know one jump, man. They weighed our equipment. That's what we were doing. I trained up to go to Haiti. They weighed my equipment, and my web gear weighed 80 pounds. And and then my rucksack, gosh, how much was my rucksack? I know it was over 110 pounds. I know that. And because they were questioning it, because, you know, they kept sticking, because they'd always stick me with like extra batteries and everything else. So and the jump master was questioning it, and he was like, "No, he's good to go." Jump master said, I said, wait a minute.
The bird.
You know what I mean? So you're looking at, like, I was probably 210, 220, you know, and then 100 pounds of that. So basically an extra 200 pounds of gear. Quietly, yeah, extra 200 pounds of gear. So I'm jumping at over 400 pounds.
Yeah.
And I'm
I
like,
mean,
yeah,
because if it's a real world mission, you're carrying at least 80 pounds of ammo.
oh, probably. Well, you figure in my magazines, because we had ammo, and no, we had blanks for that one. So the blanks weren't that heavy because it was a train up. But I had everything else, batteries, first aid, and then I had like I had a bunch of MREs that I cut open and just had the main courses, and that was it. And I had them in my car. I had them everywhere. And then I had 4 canteens of water. So yeah, it was a lot. I'm sitting there thinking about it was a lot.
That's a lot of gear, man. Like we went to Robin Sage, like working with those SF guys, they had us humping everywhere, and we had a lot of gear, bro. Like, I mean, I'm surprised we didn't get hurt. I mean, it was because just going through those mountains and hills in the Carolinas, bro, trying to keep up with these wannabe Green Berets. Like this is like the last week of their training. They're going hard. Like, damn, it was hard to keep up with them boys.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's why I sit back. I'm like, people don't realize, like, y'all think that y'all could do this. It's not like the movies. It's a lot it takes a lot. I remember I always tell somebody, can you run from here to the corner where your house is, like the corner of your street? Just look at it like that. Can you run a sprint from the corner of your street and then look around and then run, do that? If you can do that, then you might be all right.
Yeah, flat out run down as fast as you can, run down there, turn around, run back. And then you're going to do the same thing with gear on. Like, bro, I can't. I could barely walk up the stairs without something popping. I mean, if I'm gonna run, I gotta wrap my knees up, ankles up.
I can do it. The problem is later on I'm gonna feel it. Like, I told you a couple weeks ago, I went up to the park and played some hoop with them kids, bruh. I was like, let me see. Let me see what I can still do. Jump up, dunk. I'm like, oh, I can still dunk. All right, let's do this, bruh. And it's funny because you walk out to them kids, you're like, oh, that's the old dude. I dunked. They were like, yeah, he with us. Yeah, that didn't last very long.
Yeah,
we playing scoreboard? Can we play half? Can we play just to keep?
Yeah. Can we play horse? I'm tired of this,
bro. Man, tell you, man, it hurt to get back in the car. I got home, and they just looking at me like, "What are you doing?"
You should got in the hot tub, bro.
Just taking a shower.
Yeah, you should have got in the hot tub.
Couldn't get out. Get in the shower. Got to bed. Start whimpering. Like this.
Hilarious. You know what I mean? So the Sean Combs thing, man, you following that at all?
A little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't shocked though. I mean, everybody like, oh no, come on. Look.
Who's saying oh no? I mean, I don't know. People I've been looking at like, yeah. Yeah.
Bro, I was like, what was it? Corinne Steffens? She been saying that for like 20 years.
Yeah, at least 20. I was with her, like, because I was cool with Corinne. So I was with her. I was at her apartment. This was in LA, in the Valley. When she was living in the Valley, man. She was living in Sherman Oaks. And she was like, I'm gonna write a book and da. I was just like, whatever, girl. She's just talking. And then she had a list, and she had names on the list. Some of the names were scratched out. Like, what's this? She was like, oh, I told everybody that's in the book that I'm writing a book, and if they paid me, I took them out the book. I'm like, word? She had a list of names, and the ones that were scratched out were the ones who paid her. But the Puffy thing, it was Puffy and Tigger. She was talking about that way back then.
Bro, Zibit did that the interview where he was talking about they took him to that club, and he looked around like, wait a minute.
He's like, let me get up out of here.
These cats is so. I mean, I ain't shocked by it. I mean, and plus, they look. Everybody, internet's killing people, bro. Like the internet is killing people, and social media killing people because they can't keep their stuff to themselves. You know what I mean?
Well, everybody wants that clout, man. That 5 minutes of fame is down about 45 seconds now, right?
Seriously. That's the problem, though. I mean, it's a drug, and they can't help but put their business out there. If I was somebody like Diddy, I'd be like Jay-Z. Like, you don't know what Jay-Z be doing no more.
Bro, Jay-Z's moving like a billionaire. Yeah, he's moving like a billionaire.
Jay-Z had you killed.
Yes. Like, you know what? I don't know what happened. Like, people fall out of their car all the time. Like, really? On the freeway?
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah, he was just driving and just full out. Are you sure about that? Mr. Franklin and his friends say I'm sure.
Yeah, y'all might want to y'all might want to sue Ford. Like it's Ford's fault.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Nah, I
I
think
mean,
that
like,
well, you know, the conspiracy in the comparisons between Puffy and Trump.
The conspiracy, there ain't no comparisons. There ain't nothing, bro. You doing dirty stuff, you get caught. What's the comparison? Is that it right there? You know what I mean? You
ain't coming after
you. Know what the comparison is? Y'all both talk too damn much. That's what the comparison is. You know, there ain't no. I mean, once again, look, Russell Simmons. We all know Russell Simmons was doing some dirty shit. And what did he do? As soon as he got wind, he sniffed that something was going on. That brother was like, "Where can I go with this noise?" He probably had that plan already ready to go. You know what I mean? He was like, "I like to do this." I'm not gonna say it because that'll get you demonetized. I like to do this, and because I like to do this, I like to prepare if this goes bad. And when this went bad, he rolled out.
As soon as Me Too started hitting, he was gone. We ain't seen dude since.
Smart man. He was all over the TV, all through the 90s, early 2000s. And then, you know, as far as I know, he was dead. I mean, that cat left. You ain't heard nothing from him. You know what I mean? Like, you know, these celebrities be doing it all wrong. Like Michael Jackson, the allegations hit. If I was Michael, I'd have left America. Like, I'm out. Peace. I'll go make all my money, all my music in Europe. Whether I'm guilty or not, I'm out.
Extradition.
I mean, what's the fascination?
Mike could have started his own country.
Europe, you know,
yeah, he could have started his own country.
For real. He probably need to because we don't know if he's black or white. Them kids ain't his. I saw something this morning, man. I guess there was some kind of like tribute thing with Michael Jackson over in Europe, some Broadway play or something, and they had his kids there, and they got like his kids' pictures up next to him talking about, you see the similarities? And I'm looking like, them kids is white.
Yeah.
Just because Michael Jackson had a pointy nose when he died doesn't mean he was born with a pointy nose. Look at Michael Jackson's baby pictures. Y'all be killing me with that.
Bro, go back and watch the Jackson 5 stuff, man. And, you know, when Mike was, not when he was little, but when he was like a teenager with the big afro, Mike Jackson was a handsome fella, bro. No diddy. But he was a handsome guy, man. You know what I mean? And
is that what it is now? Hold on, wait. Is that what it is? It's called No Diddy. Yo, I'm gonna use that. Yo, so it's no more pause, it's no Diddy.
It's no Diddy, bro.
Yo, I'm gonna use that. Yo, that's bananas. Okay. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
But I was looking at that.
No Diddy.
Yeah, that's his legacy now, bro. He's
gonna use that today. I'm gonna be saying it today.
Waiting to say something. I'm about to say that.
Be walking around with it loaded. It's gonna be loaded when I walk around. You know what I'm saying? And yo, hold on, let me get this real quick. Hold on.
All right. So, oh man, this is why I love talking to my guy, man, Jay Swans. This is what we do all day. So the next part, we're gonna really get into it. Man, we're gonna talk some politics. We're gonna talk some social issues. I just wanted to throw that Sean Combs thing out there, man. But there's a lot of people out there comparing Sean Combs to Trump with the legal things, you know, because both are facing federal investigation. Trump is facing indictments. To my knowledge, and it's 11 a.m. Eastern time on March 29th. To my knowledge, Diddy hasn't been charged yet. They're gonna have to charge him. Running into both of his homes like that, all the resources that's been expended thus far, they're gonna have to charge him. So he's gonna get indicted and charged. I just don't know when, but the guy's gonna he probably has the best legal team on deck. You know, unlike Donald Trump, lawyers know that Sean Combs will pay. Trump has a problem getting the best lawyers because they know he won't pay. So that's another issue that Donald Trump is facing that Sean Combs doesn't have to face. But bottom line, though, guys, you do not want the federal government coming after you, bro.
Yo, I'm back.
Don't want. Yeah, just like that.
Good. You sounded good. No Diddy. I had to load it up. Nah, man, I had that was one of the veterans calling me, man. I had and I meant to leave my phone at the office, and it's forgotten it was sitting there, so I forgot to answer it.
I ain't mad at you, bro. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I ain't mad at you, man. So, bro, man. So,
but nah, did he doing it, man? Like I said, I ain't shocked by it. I mean, we talk about that stuff. When we was like heading down to Atlanta and stuff, like, Jay-Z, I'm not Jay-Z, Jermaine Dupri, and all them little acts. I mean, you talked about it when you was messing with that music stuff up there. They be trying to get it in. And the problem is like everything else, they be doing stuff in excess. I mean, come on, Diddy. I mean, it's cool to, everybody got a little freak in them, but you got to have like the Roman Empire,
real
stuff going on.
Real.
You know what I mean?
Like, they get to a point where they believe they're untouchable. This is what Donald Trump and Sean Combs have in common. They believe they can't be touched because they've gotten away with so much. I didn't realize, because the NPR had a breakdown, a timeline going back to the 90s on Sean Combs.
Yeah,
Dude beat at least 2 gun charges in New York.
Well, because everybody was taking them. You know what I mean? Like Shine. Come on.
Well,
Shine
not even counting that. It was like he had a couple like brandishing firearms type thing. Like he threatened a photographer, pulled out the gun or whatever, doing some other stuff, and he beat those cases.
See, I don't understand that either, bro. Like, I mean, maybe like you said, we talk about this a lot. Like I didn't grow up like that, so to me, I'm like this, bro. Once I'm making money, bro, like I'm distancing myself. Like, look, if we out somewhere and some drama kicking off, I'm never gonna be the one holding. You know what I mean? I got people around me doing that. You know what I mean? I got Navy SEALs and Rangers around me doing that.
That's how 50 Cent does it. That's how 50 does it.
I ain't trying to hold nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand that. Like, what's the point? Like,
because you want to be tough. You want to be seen as tough, and you know who you are. Like, look at someone like Jay-Z. Jay-Z was in the streets doing what he was doing before music, right? And it was music that actually saved him from the streets. Because if he went out to do a concert in Europe, and while he was gone, the people he was rocking with, they got popped. You know what I mean? And wound up having to do a bid. If Jay-Z would have been right there with him. You know what I mean? So, and like he tells the story. So you get someone like Jay-Z, he gets to the billions. He's not trying to be out there in the streets doing, he's trying to buy franchises and stuff like that. Sean Combs, right? He gets out there and he wants to be a gangster. You know what I mean? He's out there, they looking at him. I mean, there's rumors around, but they're saying like the law enforcement were looking at Sean Combs for allegedly, paying money for what happened to Tupac and stuff like that. And they just couldn't prove it, I guess. I mean, it was out there. So I'm like you, like, nah, bro. I came up in that world, like, I'm not trying to do all that, bro. I got pros. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not dealing with that.
Yeah. I ain't trying to hold nothing. You know what I mean? Like, if we smoking on something, bro, I'm like, you hold it for me. I don't want my hands on it. I don't want my fingerprints on nothing. That was weird though. I was just thinking.
There was your no Diddy right there. You were supposed to drop that. You hold it for me, no Diddy.
No Diddy. That's how much money I would have though. I'll be just like this. You want me to do this myself? I wonder what that would pay. You know what I'm saying? But now, even when we was in the army, you know what I mean? Like every brother I met from California always killed me too. Every brother I met from California was like either a blood or a Crip. Everyone. I was the only one that wasn't. And what set you claim? Center High School? What are you asking me? And but I mean, I look at that stuff like everybody. I never understood the fascination with being a gangster. Like I never wanted no part of that.
Were you in Korea when we was kicking it with little Nate Dogg?
The little short dude, little blood.
He was a Crip. He was a Playboy Crip.
Little gangster dude. Yeah. I knew
he was no. I take that back. He was a Long Beach insane. That's who he was. He was from Long Beach. And Nate, we were in the NCO club, and there was a dude running around with a bunch of red bandanas on. Were you with us that night?
Nah. That's probably
Nate followed dude. He followed dude into the bathroom. This is in Seoul, Korea, in the NCO club in Yongsan. He followed dude into the bathroom and was like straight. I was the first time I ever seen gangbanging shit. You know what I mean? And they was like on this and cuz that, blah, blah, saying it made dude take all the red bandanas, all the red off. Cause dude had on red like from head to toe. And the guy was just some dude from somewhere who saw it in the video or something. The guy took all that stuff off, bro, and left the NCO club. Nate was trying to get at him for real, bro. I was like, what the?
See, I don't understand that life, bro. I guess I get why, you know, people would be involved, you know, because you camaraderie and family. But I'm like, why you want to be fake? You know what I mean? Like, my thing was like this. First of all, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to discuss it. I'm not going to advertise it. I'm not going to be walking around like, I'm not going to walk in there and be like, that guy right there. You see him with the rag hanging out of his pocket? Oh, really? You just go ahead and get that out. There you go.
My bad. My bad.
Fuck you, nigga.
I'm just saying, man, you're gonna have to put a little more pep in your stories, bro.
Damn, I done lost interest now.
You gotta put a little pep in your story, man. I'm just my bad. You know, I'm old.
Give me a caramel macchiato. That's my gangster.
That's your gangster right there, man. But I mean, I feel you. But that's a big problem with America. People wanting to belong. You know, people not happy with who they are. You know, It's like, man, you know what I mean? Like, people talk to me about that, like what being in the streets and this and that. I'm like, bro, like, what was it like, man? Was it exciting? I'm like, man, it's scary. Getting shot at is not exciting, bro. It's scary. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know any better, or being in those situations where you 4 or 5 dudes are looking at you and you want to just leave, but you can't. You gotta stand there and say whatever and do whatever. It's like, bro, I'm about to die for what? I gotta face these dudes for what? You know, a reputation, man.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you,
that shit was cool.
I look back in my life, man. I've been truly blessed, like really, and like I said, in all aspects, you know, I mean, I've been truly blessed in my life. I just sit back, like, I mean, relationships and growing up, and you know, my parents in the household, all that stuff like that, and you don't realize it because you know you're in it, so it's normal to you. But when you get out, this is another reason I feel like everybody should go spend time in the military. Forget going to college. You know, because you're not getting the same experience. You know, people in college, I mean, I'm sure there's people there with diverse backgrounds, but they still found a way to get there. You know, people in the military, you know, I want to say a lot of them don't have the same opportunities, you know, don't have access to the same stuff. And you sit back and you watch how people behave and how they carry themselves. And I said, I look back, I didn't realize, I thought my life was normal. And I get in the military, you know, like you said, like, you know, a lot of people like yourself, just trying to get out. You know, it used to annoy me when people say, hey, I'm in the military for the education. You know, I'm trying to get the education money out of it. I'm like, that's stupid. You know, you should be here to fight for your country, blah, blah, blah. But as I've gotten older, I realized, man, that's that dude's only opportunity to get money for school, you know, is to do this. And so, I mean, I think a lot of people miss that, you know, and like I said, I've never had any desire to be nobody's gangster. You know, I don't want to get caught doing nothing. You know, my thing is I like to stir the pot, create problems, and walk out the room. And they be like, who did that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
that's a fact.
Be just like that. Be over in the corner starting trouble, and y'all be over there running, wanting to fight somebody. I'll be talking to that girl right here. So what you want to do? Yeah, they busy. Don't worry about them. Let's go get something to eat. You buying, right?
That's hilarious.
I have done that. You know, I'll be doing that. So, I mean, but no, I mean, I said, man, the world is crazy, but I still believe everybody should spend time in the military for real. You know, get away from home, you know, get small. It shouldn't be like the old military. It shouldn't be like the military. What is it they do now? That first 100 yards in basic training where they say, okay, now we're all a team. We're going to work as a team. Nah, I want the shark attack military.
Yeah, you know, it should be a shark attack.
Trying to be good at sitting there and they come in there screaming at you. You know what I mean? Because like I said, that shark attack had me shook. I thought I was the man. I was shook, bro. I was like, I'm the football star. I'm the basketball star. Had me shook, bro. I was like, what?
Because they telling you ain't shit. You know what I mean? You won't punch somebody when the drill sergeant takes his hat off, talking about who think they can beat me.
Yeah, it's funny. Everybody talks about well, you know, I would do this, I would do that, and I think that because they did it to me. I mean, they didn't do it to me, but they did it to our group. The drill sergeant took his hat off. Who wants some of this? Ain't nobody said a word. You know what I mean?
I'll never forget. Drill Sergeant Stump. Drill Sergeant Stump. That was his name, man. Big old white dude, corn-fed. He took his He took his drill sergeant hat off and put it down. He was like, any of y'all, all of y'all. You know what I mean? He's an infantry guy. You're like, all of y'all. You think you can? Y'all want? What's up? Here's your opportunity. And man, the platoon had never been so quiet in my life. I mean, you could hear a damn gnat piss on cotton.
Yeah.
It was so like,
tell you, I look at these videos online now, like on YouTube, and see these, these shows where they be showing people going through Navy basic training or whatever, and these people be rolling their eyes and this and that at their instructors. I'm like, man, maybe because they tell them, like, I mean, I don't know. Did they get you there like at 2:00 in the morning or something?
They got me there three. Our flight was late, so we got in. We missed the shark attack. We got in. All that was everybody was asleep. We just kind of sleep. They woke up. We were there.
Oh shoot! Because I know we got in. It was like middle of the night. Got like 2 a.m. They fed us and they talked to us about stuff, and then they said go to bed and woke us up like at 6 a.m. Excuse me. And it was like, I mean, you didn't have time. You were tired. You were frustrated. You had time to do nothing. You know that the reception place, and then you get the basic training. That's when they start all that yelling and barking and all that other stuff. And it just, like I said, it got my attention. Now, mind you, did it change who I was? Well, I was there. I learned to play the game, but once, I would say this, the stuff I learned in training in the military, it stuck with me. Because even now, I know, I know if I've gone too far, because everything becomes yes, sir. Especially with my parents. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Like, even talking to Roger the other day. So, the dude from Vietnam, the infantry officer, Roger, right? So, we were at his house the other day, and he was showing me some stuff in his garage, man. His house is beautiful. He had this thing built. It's really nice. But he was showing me stuff he had in the garage. And he's like, yeah, I'm selling these shells, this and that. And he's like, unless you you can use them. And I was like, oh yeah, I could use these shells in my garage. He goes, great, I'll just give them to you. And I said, well, no, man, I'm going to pay you for them. He said, no, I'm giving them to you. Understand? Yes, sir. He said, okay. And then went on. And I didn't realize I did it. So I was like, man, did he just lock me up? Like,
he sure did lock your ass up. I think it's cool. I think that's cool though. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I'm all right with that.
It is. I mean, like I said, I tell that dude all the time, man. Like whenever we talk, because I tell him that I have so much respect for him. Like I said, because the stuff I learned in RIP was the stuff that he was doing in Vietnam. And okay, like a little background on Roger. He was an infantry officer in Vietnam in '68 during the Tet Offensive. He was on the QRF for when the embassy got attacked.
That's a quick reaction force for those. Yeah, for those people who don't know. You got to tell them what a QRF is because they don't know.
Yo, sorry. Y'all should
quick
know.
Reaction force.
But so and he's a great guy, and he never complained about coming back and and getting spit on and all the other stuff. Never complains about it. His wife will talk about how he was treated unfairly and that kind of stuff. So whenever I see this man, and he's 80 years old now, whenever I see this man, I give him the utmost respect. And he's always telling me how much he respects me. And I'm like, bro, I am nowhere near, the level where you're at. And I think a lot of people don't realize, yeah. Like I said, infantry officer, got 2 Purple Hearts, lost multiple guys. And he, he's the most humble. Sit back and you met Roger, right? Have you met Roger? Yeah, he just, little guy. Roger's probably 5'6", 5'7", and I don't think he's as tall as Ned. So he's just a nice little humble guy. A great man. And so I give him his respect every time I see him, which we should be doing. This goes back to that. A lot of people I don't know what's going on in America, bro. Like that's the problem. Okay, let's talk about Trump now. That's the problem I have with Trump. I really have a problem with him. That's the problem I have with him. Forget all the other stuff. Like dude's probably an asshole in real life. He probably, but the fact that he shits on the military, and I've had people say to me, no, he doesn't. He loves the military. That stuff's all propaganda. And I'm like, you can look at videos of him actually saying these things and doing these things, right?
The thing, it's just he went after John McCain. Of all you, he's off limits. Like John McCain was off limits when he was alive. Like you met John McCain in real life.
Yeah, in his office. Here's a quick story. So I'm in DC, and I'm wandering through the halls, and I see his office. So the doors cracked open, knock on the door, walk in. He's got his staff is in there, and the offices are actually. I was surprised how big it was. I thought it was just a room, and but the staff told me, I'm like, oh, can I see Senator McCain? And the staff was like, oh, Mr. McCain's busy, blah blah blah. If you do something, I'm like, well, I'm a veteran. I just want to stop in and say, hey, And I guess he was like around the corner or something. So he came out and was like, hey, let him on in. I always got time for a veteran. And he sat down. We sat down and talked. And they kept coming in and said, hey, Senator McCain, you have this. He's like, oh, no, I'm busy. I'm with somebody. And he stayed there until I was done talking. There was no rushing me out, none of that stuff. He didn't know me. He didn't ask what my party affiliation was, none of that stuff. He just sat and talked. And like I said, nice guy, eye twitching. He's hunched over, like his arm barely moved. I mean, dude was a mess. But that's because of the stuff he went through. So, there's my meeting McCain story. But, he's a lot of people. Okay, when I was in high school, and this is the part I have a problem with this whole Trump thing. A lot of the stuff he says is shit that I used to think was a good idea in high school. Like John McCain, he got shot down. He must be a loser. That's some little kid thinking. I mean, really, they don't realize that man, his dad was an admiral, and the North Vietnamese wanted to send him home. They didn't want nothing to do with an admiral's son at the Hanoi Hilton. And so he could have gone home anytime. He refused to go home unless all the men that were with him could go home. And they told him, well, if you don't leave, we're going to torture you. And they tortured him for what, 5 more years? Broke every bone in his body, dislocated every shoulder, had him eating his own shit. He stuck around and dealt with that shit for 5 more years before he got released with every other POW that was negotiated at the ceasefire. And I'm like, if that's not a hero, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Because I'll tell you right now, I'll tell you right now, if I had the opportunity to leave, I'm not leaving till D leaves. I'm not leaving till DL leaves. But the rest of y'all cats, I don't know y'all. I'm out.
I'm telling you to go home. I'm telling you, man, get out of here, bro. Like, get out of here. One of us got to survive this, man. Get out of here. You know what I mean?
And I'm not leaving without him. That's, what I mean? Now, I'm saying that now. If I'm in that situation, I don't know what I would do. Let's be real about it. You know what I mean? I don't know what I would do. But, but that man stuck around for people he didn't even know. You know what I mean? That right there, that's what a hero is. It's funny. I saw a thing, that lone survivor guy. The guy that, he finally came out and said that during that battle, he ran. Really? I mean, he wasn't. Yeah, he came out. You can find the videos online. He did an interview. He was like, I ran, but the military wanted me to write the book this way and say the things this way. And even when they found him, he couldn't even tell where the other guys were. He was like, they're just dead. And I guess they found one of the guys had died, like propped up against a tree, still fighting. And he'd only died, like he'd been dead less than a week. So they were saying that they could have maybe got to him if he'd have had more stuff. And he's kind of starting to get a lot of shit because he's like, yeah, I ran. And I'm sitting there like, okay, all you armchair warriors, you got 150 guys shooting at you, and you don't know what you're going to do until it happens. And you got 150 guys shooting at you. You barely got any cover, and you're going to sit there telling me you're going to be cool and just shoot back and hit every target like in the movies? No. You know what I mean? You might be a hero. You know what I mean? You might. I don't know. And I'm sitting there to be honest. I don't know what I would do.
I mean, there's only so many Audie Murphys, bro. I would like to say that I would be standing on top of a burning tank, firing at a battalion of the enemy rushing at me, but that's not. That's not really realistic. A lot of guys that I've talked to who've done heroic stuff or, gotten silver stars with valor and gotten, I've never met anybody with a CMH. But when you read the articles, you see the interviews, they're like, bro, I just wanted to get out of the situation. They like, I didn't realize what I was doing was heroic. I was just trying to survive. That's what most of them are saying.
Exactly. You know, because I mean, like I said, I watched some of these videos of that dude, and I'm like, you know, you never know what you're gonna do. You know, I mean, like, I told one of my neighbors, he's like, well, you know, if you do this and do that, I said, man, look, if I picked up a Nerf block, no, not even that, I said Lego. If I picked up a handful of Legos, okay, and I gave you a gun and said, okay, I want you to shoot me with that gun, all right, and I started throwing them Legos at you from 5 feet away, 3 feet away, and hitting you with them Legos. I guarantee that you're flinching and everything else, and you get one shot, you're probably gonna miss. Because your natural reaction is to get out of the way of something coming at you.
Yeah, and and if I throw some firecrackers at you in the same scenario, you definitely gonna miss your target.
Yeah, you definitely gonna miss. And I mean, you got to be a special kind of guy. Just like they tell you, like if you shoot expert in the military, you know what I mean. You'd be lucky if you shoot as a marksman in combat. You know, I mean, like I said, people just like the armchair people think that they're just, you know, I could do this and do that. That's why it's so easy to insult people like John McCain or Vietnam veterans coming back, you know, or even some of these law enforcement officers when they do the whole, well, why didn't you shoot him in the leg?
Like, oh, okay. I'm running, heart rate's up. You want me to just put one round in somebody's leg? Okay. I could barely hit him center mass. You want me to hit a leg?
I tell you, when I go to the range, man, it's always funny to see how people watch me. Because what I do is, you know, I park, because you've been there. So, you know, I park over there at the thing. And what I'll do is I'll run, you know, from the shed where the range people stay at, and I'll sprint to the end of the line, you know, out there in the parking lot, and I'll do that 4 times, and then I'll do like 50 jumping jacks, a 3 count, and then I'll do like 20, 35 push-ups, and then I'll go in there and get ready to shoot, and then I'll shoot, you know, like I'll go to the end where the handgun target is, you know, like the 15-meter one is, or whatever it is, and I'll shoot, and you know, my grouping is like this. You know, I mean, I'm hitting it, but it's like this. And you get these dudes that are next to me that grouping like, you know, like this. And they're like, oh, you know, you're doing this wrong. You're doing that wrong. I said, no, my heart rate is up and my hands are shaking and I'm tired and my vision's blurry because my contact lenses have been bouncing around. You know what I mean? And I'm like, this is more reality than you standing there. Oh, and then they do that shoot like this. Bang. Bang. You know, bang. Where you see me, I'm like this. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang. Because I'm trying to simulate how I would be if I ever had to use this for real. Because to me, they're not toys.
Well, yeah, and you and I do that all the time, and especially with a handgun. Like I haven't done the running around, getting my heart rate up, but when I'm on the range firing, like you say, these guys trying to get these little tight. Look at my tight. Like, man, please, you know what I mean? You're not gonna fire just one round, bro. Like you know, if I'm firing the 38 special, I'm like, okay, I got 5 rounds. They're coming out right one after the other. You know what I'm saying?
All 5 are going.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna grab the speed loader and I'm gonna load it, you know, and fire the next 5. And you know, people, I'm like, bro, and like you said, in a firefight, you're gonna be moving. You very rarely are you gonna be, unless you were able to dig a foxhole or some sort of hasty firing position, you're gonna be moving from spot to spot. So yeah, these people don't realize it, and that's because a lot of people don't join the military. I'm with you. I think, you know, I believe that people should have to join the military. It should be mandatory. I mean, young men aren't even going to college these days, so they're not doing nothing. It's like, dude, at least play a sport.
This is a sport, right?
Oh Lord, there we go.
Thumbs be buff as hell, boy. Thumbs be all swole up.
All swole up, like, yeah, man. So, but you're right. Like, as far as Trump goes, like people who watch my content, I'm not a Trump guy. I'm far from it. If that's who you want to be, that's who you want to follow, and whatever, do you? You know what I mean? Yeah. I tell people, like, just vote. I don't care who you vote for, just go vote. But you know, Trump doesn't care about America.
My thing is, I don't care who you support, you vote for. Just don't BS me. You know what I mean? Don't come at me with some. You know this shit is blatantly dumb because you know, because we talked about this too, man. Like I feel like a lot of people just get off on the argument, like they just get off on being the pain in the ass. Yeah, so they'll say shit. Yeah. You'll look at them, you know what I mean? They'll be like, "No, Trump loves the military," and they get that little grin because they know they've pushed a button. I think there's a lot more of them people out there. So I'm like, just don't BS me. Like, you know what I mean? Believe what you want to believe, whatever. Just don't try to tell me that the shit I'm seeing is not right. Like, I'll tell you right now, Biden is an old motherfucker. Like, for real. You know what I mean? I got no problem saying that. And but you telling me that Trump is a young, viral, energetic individual? That dude is an old motherfucker too. that never had his ass whooped.
They're both,
I think Biden had his ass kicked once or twice.
Yeah, I can believe that. I can believe Trump has been hit in the mouth. I can definitely believe that. But he did grow up in a different era. Well, I will say this. Don Jr., yeah. Well, Trump grew up in an era where, he probably was a bully. Maybe he got away with not getting punched. But back in the 60s, they were throwing hands.
Yeah. But, it was, what was it? I think Trump was like, what's the dude in Revenge of the Nerds? Like the quarterback dude? You know what I mean? Had Ogre over there. Ogre, go throw him in the trash can.
Yeah.
It wasn't because he was the strongest dude. It's because he was he was the dude whose dad had money. I mean, listen. But that's my thing. When people discuss things, it annoys me when people just they know it's wrong, and no matter what it is, but they try to argue the point because they get off on the argument.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't. When I talk to Trumpers, you can just tell them, just keep it 100. I'm gonna vote for him because I want to, whatever the reason. But don't tell me he's the best choice. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was talking to my brother yesterday, as a matter of fact, and he was like, "Hey, man, it looks like it's like black people were talking about going over to Trump, young people were talking about going over to Trump." And I was like, yeah, if the election were tomorrow, Trump would probably win. You know what I mean? But the election isn't until November. But me and you talk about this all the time, man. Like, the Biden administration has problems. Like, they're not winning this campaign by any stretch of the imagination. Like, best case scenario, they're even, which for someone like Biden, that's a horrible situation to be in.
Well, don't forget, the also problem is you got 20% of people, and this is why the Republican Party is a mess now, that no matter what Trump does, are going to support Trump. No matter what he does, they're going to support Trump. And that's why I think the polls seem so weird right now to see so many people over there, because you have people, okay, like I said, like I've told people, I'm voting for Biden, not because I like Biden, because I don't like Trump. Okay. And but you got people, okay, remember during the last election, people were shocked that Trump lost because they were like, did you see how many people were at his rallies? How many Trump hats you see? How many signs you see? That kind of stuff. And I think you have a lot of that stuff trying to happen. People are like, oh, there's so much Trump support because they're seeing, Trump hats and stuff like that. And I keep telling people, yeah, because normal people that support politics, it's not a sport. It's not a team. Right. They're not wearing the jerseys. They just do what they do. Remember when politics and how you voted used to be a private thing? Used to be. Especially among white people. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, yes, you can sleep with my wife. Whoa. Hey, don't ask who I'm voting for.
Exactly.
They were limited to that. You know what I mean? And but now it's kind of, among Trump people, they wear I saw a dude the other day with a Trump tattoo. And I laughed at him. I was like, is that a Trump tattoo? He's like, hell yeah, that's my boy. And I just laughed and walked away. The sad part, when I started laughing, he was with some woman and she started laughing too, because that's how corny it was. And but hey, I think that's what people are seeing out there. And they're like, a lot of black people are doing this and doing that. I don't know no black people that are like, I think Trump's a good guy. None. And
I think black folks are.
I know more young people, but the young people that are like, oh yeah, I think Trump is a good guy. They're also the younger people that are saying it for shock value. And I had a lady at work. She was talking to me about her daughter, right? Her daughter was, was like 30 years old. And she was asking her mom, do you think I'm more conservative or more liberal? I told you the story, I think, man.
Yeah.
More conservative, more liberal. And her mom's telling her, oh, yeah, you're conservative because, your family values or, you have family values and religion and blah, blah, blah. And the daughter was like, nah, I think I'm more liberal. And I was like, oh, no, you're more conservative. You're more conservative. And I said to you, I was like, I don't think her daughter at 30 years old was questioning where her values are. I think it was more, she was questioning what her mom would say if she was like, hey, I'm more liberal. Because a lot of those Trump people, Trump has destroyed families. For real, destroyed families, bro, over, I can't support Trump. You don't support Trump, you're done. And I know actually people who that has happened to, like their parents have stopped talking to them because they didn't support Trump. And I've never heard of anybody that's like, well, if you don't support Biden, I'm not going to talk to you no more. If you support Hillary Clinton, I'm not going to talk to you no more. If you support Barack Obama, I'm not going to talk to you no more. and on down the line, Bush, Romney, McCain.
They're out there. I
Never,
think it's just larger numbers now. There's always been people like that, hardcore liberal, hardcore conservative.
yeah.
They've been there, but not in
Yeah,
the
I know
numbers
some
that we
hardcore
get.
liberal guys. Yeah, I know some hardcore shaking your head like, what? Abortion should be 3 years after birth. That's going a little too far.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, I've seen people like that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, definitely. Guns should all be gone. Well, good. Why don't you go ahead and give me yours?
Right.
I mean, and there's always a happy medium, but I think it's gone. You're either on my team or you're not. And if you're not, then you're stupid and this and that. And I think that's completely a mess. I think that's completely.
It's that Star Wars thing, man. Like it's like that, when Darth Vader, young Anakin, was like, either you're with me or you're against me. Like it's like such absolutes, and it's like I don't like Trump. I don't like Trump's administration, but I can come up with a couple things that the administration did that I thought was okay. Like he did all right. And I can come up with a whole bunch of things that the Biden administration or the Obama administration or the Clinton administration did that I think was just absolute dog shit. I can do that, but Trumpers can't do that.
Nope. I mean, look at what's going on now. Like, could you imagine if Trump was president? We have the Congress we have now, and the Senate was run by Josh Hawley or Ted Cruz. And people talk about this country's becoming socialist. I heard it's becoming communist. And I have some neighbors here that are from Cuba that came over here because they won the lottery, and they talk about what it was like in Cuba. And these are poor people from Cuba. And I had no idea, and they get mad, and here's the crazy part. So one of the families in here, right? So we're talking to her about this, and I was like, so do you think Biden's making us communists and this and that? She's like, these people have no idea what they're talking about, and she ran down some of the stuff that was going on in Cuba, and she was like, it's a dictatorship, and she was like, I'm a Republican, but I can't vote for Trump because he's not a Republican. She goes, I don't know what he is, but she said he's more like Castro than she's seen in a long time. Just the stuff going on. And that's coming from her, and then now mind you, this is her opinion. So I don't want anybody to be like, oh my God, she doesn't she must not really be Cuban, them keyboard cats. But, but I mean, people talk about this country being socialist. I'm like, do you like Medicare? Do you like Social Security? Do you like public parks? Do you like public roads? Those are all socialist activities. And then I had someone else tell me about, Medicare, like, oh, we don't want universal health care here because it'll be like the other countries and you can't get anything done. They don't pay their doctors much. So I went ahead, and while this lady was talking to me about this, I Googled it. I'm sitting there right in front of her Googling it, okay? How long it takes to see a general practitioner, and one of the countries she said she looked at, because she was a nurse, she said she looked at going to was Ireland. So I Googled Ireland. How long does it take to see a general practitioner in Ireland? I think it said like 2 to 4 weeks for an appointment. I was like, man, that's a long time. So I Googled, how long does it take to see a general practitioner in America? It was like 1 to 3 weeks. Not much different. Okay. The same thing. Orthopedic surgeon in Ireland, it was like 2 to 4 weeks or whatever. It was like 1 to 3. It wasn't much difference. Okay. And then she said they only pay doctors and nurses out there like $20 an hour. So I Googled it. A general practitioner in Ireland was making about $120,000 a year. And mind you, it's been a little bit, so I'm not totally accurate. But a doctor, the same general practitioner in America, was maybe $10,000 more. Okay, same thing with the orthopedic surgeon. It was like whatever the price was, it was like a $10,000 to $20,000 difference. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, and I'm just I'm letting her talk because some people you just can't argue with. Then we got into the she's like, well, this is why it is, and this is the problem, and this is why we can't have universal health care. And I said, why do you think it's so bogged down over there? And she said, because everybody's using it because everybody can get it. And I went, wait, isn't that a good thing that people are getting health care? Don't you want people to do that? Because if you get quality health care, you have less problems later in life. And, it turned into like, she looked at me and then started typing on her keyboard and ignored it. And I'm like,
you're hitting her with common sense.
Yeah, that right there is the problem. And I'm sure people will go and find all kinds of reasons why it's not good and why it's not good. But the bottom line is that we're the richest country on the planet. We drive the economy for the entire world. Why can't we get people health care? And here's the thing too. If you want private insurance, go ahead and pay for it. Nothing wrong with that. And if somebody said to me, one of my friends said to me, what if your doctor takes, the public health care and your private insurance? So you can't see him. Then you get better private insurance and you find a doctor that doesn't take that. That doesn't take the public stuff. Trust me, there'll be doctors out there. There's doctors here now. I mean, my neighbor, she has a heart condition and her doctor flew down here from Chicago to check on her.
Right. You got the bread. They're going to come see you. They're going to come see you.
Exactly. So
Good
I'm like
thing he came down too. Good thing he came down.
Really, because they was trying to do some BS here. But yeah, I mean, so I'm like, I don't understand, what people's problems are. That's one of those, people probably be in the chat talking about healthcare. Like, that's ridiculous.
Well, I want to switch the conversation up, man, because I know you like religion, and I'm always hitting you with fresh and fit stuff. Not always, but we bring up, either you'll bring it up or I'll bring it up.
You be a
fresh and hey, man, fresh and fit.
No Diddy.
No Diddy. Yeah, like no Diddy. So Myron and Fresh had this guy, this hardcore conservative guy, Andrew something. He has a program called The Crucible. Now, this guy is definitely on the right. I would say he's a far right guy. The manosphere likes him because he mixes it up with the quote unquote 304s or whatever, these girls. So it's just Myron Fresh and this guy are on Fresh and Fit, and they were talking about this Andrew guy wanted to talk about Myron, and Myron's one of the requirements that Myron said the guys should have is they should have sex with 50 women or more. There's like make this much money, have this much money in savings, be in shape, and all this stuff. And a lot of people get mad, and they have a problem with having 50 sexual partners, right? Before you get married. That's why before you get married, you should have these things, and one of those things is 50 sexual partners. Now, the number he came up with is arbitrary, and he kind of talks about how he came up to the number, not in this interview, but in the past. He was like, well, the average girl probably has a lot of bodies. So if he believes the average girl has 25 bodies, then you double that 50, then the guy should have at least 50. Because in his mind, it's like the guy should be more sexually experienced than a woman so he can better choose a good woman because he's dealt with a lot of them or whatever. So that's his take on it. People get caught up on the number, and he was like, whatever the number is, if it's 15 or 20, you just want to be more experienced as a guy trying to find you a girl or whatever. So this clip we're about to watch is them talking about that. And before we get into it, what's your take on 50 bodies or whatever? And like he's like you should have 6 figures or more. 1 second, man. Let me fix this. You're like, the guy should be making 6 figures or more. He should be like 31 years old, 6 figures or more. He should have at least 6 months of savings in the bank. He should have slept with 50 women by this time. And it might be something else in there. But what do you think about that?
I think it's stupid. I mean, seriously, I think it's dumb. I mean, his reasoning is you'll be better in a position to select a good woman.
His thing
first of all, as far as the money.
Go ahead.
No, I say as far as the money, if you meet a woman and she's worried about your money, she's probably not the woman. Okay. If you got to sleep with 50 women because she may have had more sexual partners and you'll be better apt to select a better one, or you'll know what you like kind of thing. Why not just be an adult? And if you decide you want to be a woman, hopefully you guys find a way to vet each other and merge, and then you make it work. You be adults and make it work. You don't be kids and just walk away because you're frustrated and had a bad day. Why don't you be mature in your stuff? You know what I mean? Like, getting married is a big responsibility. Having kids is a big responsibility. And it takes a lot to make those relationships work. And, I've had people say, well, you got to stop telling people marriage is so hard because nobody's going to want to do it. No, the reality is marriage is hard. I said, I'm married to an amazing woman. And And believe me, she has her days. Okay. And but I realized that the commitment I made to her is worth dealing with those days. And she has those days and I have those days. So I mean, no, I think it's stupid. I've asked her that, like, so I said, how would you feel if you knew that I had sex with 50 women? You walked into a relationship knowing I had sex with 50 women. Would you want me more? And she was like, no, I'd probably be turned off. And I'd be like, why? And she was like, because you obviously don't know how to have a relationship or something like that. Which I'm like, okay, that's her thing, whatever. Because it's easy to go out and get sex with 50 women. What is it, $100 a pop or something, $200 a pop?
That's the thing. That's the thing you can't. And that's one of the things you can't pay for it. So that's one of the things. Like, you have to go out and actually figure out how to be with a lot of women. Like, again, the number, he chose the number based on what a formula, but it's like, you got to have some experience. So,
but what if you're not? I mean, what if you're not a guy that's into being with a lot of women? What if you're genuinely, a nice guy that wants to, have a family and raise a family and work hard?
Okay.
What if that's your thing?
Now, here's the thing. Like, a lot of people come after, and this was just, they're going to talk about this on this clip, but people come after Myron for saying those things. He was like, look, bro, everyone is different. If you can work, if you can figure out, do what you're going to do. But if you're asking me what I think you should have, this is what I think you should have. This comes from Myron now.
Okay. That's a different conversation then. This
is where it stems from. Yeah. No.
Oh, I'm thinking saying everybody should do this. And I'm like,
no.
Why? Yeah,
no, but when you say something and then it gets out there into the world and then people start to look at clips and stuff, he's like, no, if you can go out there and figure it out, if you want to go out there now and whatever, you want to be a virgin and you want to go out here and mess with some of these girls, he's like, more likely you're going to get wrecked. Now that's fine. Everyone goes through it.
Yeah.
But if you're asking me what a man should have before he gets married, this is what I would say. And that's where all that comes from.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is this. If you're asking me what I think a man should have prior to getting married, a man should have common sense and not have to ask another man what he should have prior to getting married. You obviously aren't ready to get married. That's what I would tell you. If you're asking me how to sustain a relationship, I'm going to say to you, this is what's worked for me. Like Janae and I have this rule. It's funny. Whenever we argue, and this came up I don't know, probably 10 or 15 years ago. I don't know where it came from. And whenever we argue now, right, we have to lay down on the floor and be about 6 inches or 8 inches apart, face to face, okay, on our stomachs. And that's how we have to have that discussion or argument. It sounds stupid, right?
Yeah, it's like some shit I wouldn't do, but hey, if it works for you guys, go ahead.
Well, think about it. Wait, hold on. Think about it. How do you argue when you're that close to somebody that you're supposed to love? Like, even if you don't like them, how are you going to argue? You can't. It's silly.
Because you're in a ridiculous position. Like, I can't have an argument like this.
Exactly. You know what I mean? But what it does is it calms things down, and it forces us not to make rash decisions or say things we don't mean. And believe me, we've had some pretty good arguments where, she's been like this. Nope, get down on the floor. No, I ain't doing that shit. No, no, this is serious. No, this is serious. She's down there just like this.
And this is what we agreed to. And again, it's individuals need to do what they got to do to make it work. My thing is this. If you're going to go to a preacher or a priest or an imam or a rabbi and ask them what you need to do to get married, then you should. I don't have a problem with you going with someone like Myron or whoever, just to get a different perspective. That's my thing. Like, if you're going to go get the information, get the information, because, that priest or that religious person, you don't know where they're coming from. You know what I mean? And just like, what
their motivation is, you don't know.
You know what I mean? Dude you might be going to the very dude who's smashing your fiance right now. You know what I mean? You just don't know. So, but when Myron came out with this thing and he said what he had to say, and I was like, nah, that makes sense to me. I took it as be experienced. Be experienced. Like, what do you get?
Is Myron married?
No.
Then why would you ask somebody that's not married what I should do to get married?
That's what a lot of people say, but I'm gonna take it from whoever. Let me hear what you have to say. I'm not married. You know, I'm never gonna be married, but I have views on it. And people like,
bro, what you know what I mean? If like I need a tire change, I'm not gonna go to nobody that's never changed a tire. Well, the book says, I'm like, nah, what do I need to do for real? You know, I'm not gonna go to a doctor that ain't never done surgery. You know what I mean? Like that don't make no sense. Like, why would you do that?
Well, it's my whole thing is
See,
I'm gonna get the information from wherever information comes, and I'm gonna listen to it, and I'm gonna take the good, and I'm gonna leave the rest. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna. But this is one of the things that they jump on the 50 bodies thing. This Andrew guy, is a big religious dude. I've watched some of his content. It's some other stuff about this guy I'll bring up later. But let's check this out, man. Here it is right here.
Pill. Mm-hmm. What's your thoughts on the red pill itself?
So it's funny when you have debates on this. The red pill itself does not exist. What exists is an idea, a catalog idea, and you're using the red pill as a descriptor for this idea.
Okay.
That's all it is. So the idea, at least from my perspective of the red pill, is we want to know what is descriptively true before we make prescriptions for anything. Mm-hmm. Right? So let's start with what is descriptively true. The red pill says men and women aren't equal. That was the first thing I saw. And I was like, okay, maybe there's something here. Maybe there's something good here, right? Yeah. A little pushback to egalitarianism. They also make other claims too. They make claims about what women are attracted to, what they're not attracted to, what men are looking for, what they're not looking for. Mm-hmm. They're trying to get into kind of the sociology of the pairing of men and women.
Yeah.
From my perspective, almost all of the descriptors of the red pill line up perfectly with Christian ethics. It's when you get into prescriptions that we start having troubles. So, for instance, I know you're
a religious guy. I just wanted to stop it there. Well, that part right there.
But the red pill is like religious?
Lining up with religious traditions or ethics.
Okay. Well, let's start with the beginning of the conversation. Red pill is just a descriptive thing, which is the descriptor of the descriptor, which is descriptive by the description, which makes a description a description. I'm like, oh, okay, dude, whatever. So now you're just talking to say words. All right. Number one, as far as the red pill, I don't know a lot about the red pill content. I mean, I know the bad stuff. You always tell me that, like I do see a lot of the bad stuff, the whole, like the Bible, the man is the head of the household, the red pill talks about that. So, I mean, in that sense, I mean, yeah, I guess they line up in that sense, the man's the head of the household kind of thing. Do I think that I feel like, and this is where I could be wrong. This is my lack of red pill knowledge. I feel like a lot of guys take that, like the man is the head of the household, is that, I'm the king of my castle. I stomp my foot. Everybody jumps. I walk in the house.
What I say goes. Yeah.
Yeah. That kind of stuff. And I disagree with that. Now, once again, that may work in your household, but it doesn't work in mine. So I disagree with that part of it, but I don't know enough about the red pill space to really say, whether or not I feel like it follows a lot of religious doctrine. I just know that part about the man's the head of the household thing. Yeah, that's in the Bible. But yeah. I'm religious, but I'm not.
You're spiritually not religious.
There you go. That's what I'm getting at. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't follow blindly, that kind of thing.
I don't have a problem with the message behind religion, right? I don't have a problem with the word. I don't have a problem with, the structure. I got a problem with the people who tell you how to live your life. Like, because the preacher ain't God. The imam ain't God. You know what exactly. I mean? The rabbi ain't God. So exactly. That's where I have a problem with. Don't come and tell me or question me what I'm doing over here. Worry about what you're doing over there.
I always find it funny where people who proclaim themselves to be, Christians, which one of the things in the Bible talks about not judging others, but they go around and judge other people for not being as Christian as they are, kind of thing. I was trying to be very interesting. And like I have, once again, one of my neighbors here is complete atheist, like hates religion. He's like, fuck God, he doesn't exist, that kind of stuff. He says it out loud. And he's always trying to talk to, my wife and I about, it's wrong and religion's wrong and all this other stuff. And I say the same to him every time, because they always talking about people who are super religious. They're always trying to force the religion on people. And I go, well, gee, it seems like people who are anti-religion always are trying to force their anti-religion on people. So what's the difference between you and these other people? And, and he kind of gets mad about it. I was like, well, because I believe in science. I believe in science too.
They can coexist. I'm like, you're the only one in the room pushing this non-religious thing. Ain't nobody in here telling me to follow God, but you telling me not to.
Yep. I never walked in here and said you need to do this, And I said, this is, he's like, well, this. And I said, well, part of religion is belief, faith, And I said, now, do I walk around and my faith is so strong, I'm just going to walk off a bridge and God's going to catch me? No, because I believe in science. And I understand that gravity works. Right. There
are rules. There are rules to this shit. And And that's my thing, man.
Yeah.
It's people take it too far and they mess it up. And it's the same thing with this whole red pill manosphere world.
I'm sorry, I took it there.
Like,
go back.
Yeah.
Good job.
Well,
that's good. You took it right. That's good. You've been getting better.
Hey, I'm trying. But this guy, right, who's really famous, like real popular in these spaces, and the dude makes good arguments. Like, he's really good at conveying his points and having conversations, quote unquote, debates with people. And okay, good for you, but he can't do the thinking for you. And I think that's what it is. I think a lot of people are like, Myron's figured it out for me. This Andrew guy figured it out for me. Fresh figured, DL Saint, Jay Swans figured it out for me. Yeah. Like, nah, you got to figure it out for yourself.
Yeah, you got to be an adult. I mean, life sucks. You know what I mean? Life is not great. Life sucks. And, then you die. What you do within the middle, that's what's important. You got to make it work. Life is pain. Everything has an opposite. You know what I mean? Like, love is amazing. Like I said, meeting my wife and marrying my wife and being married to her is fucking amazing. Okay. It is I can't even describe it. But when we're fighting, or if she was to leave me, and DL knows this, I would be devastated. It would hurt so bad. And it takes so much to put all that out there. You know what I mean? Now, do I think she would turn around and try to, take all my money and tell everything she knows about me? No, she wouldn't do that. But it would just hurt so bad because I put all that out there. And that's the risk you take. That red pill thing talks about, men and, maintaining your frame and all that other stuff. How can you maintain your frame, but yet, entrust your heart to someone? How do you do that? Once again, I'm not, because we talked about that. I'm not, I didn't first meet her and be like, I'm putting everything out there. I didn't day one put everything out there. That's just no. I mean, I'm still a guy. You know what I mean? But everything was out there before I got married to her. You know what I mean? Before I got married, she could have crushed me.
Yeah, but that was a long time. I mean, it took time to get to that point. You did the vetting process.
It took a couple years.
Yeah, this guy right here, this Andrew guy, right? He's married to a single mother, which again, that's like a no in the red pill world, right? So, but they talked about it, and even Myron was saying, like, look, bro, because the guy said he agreed, like, yeah, I agree that men shouldn't marry single moms, but I married a single mom and it worked for me. And Myron was like, hey, man, there's always outliers. Nothing is 100%. If it works for you, bro, great.
Tell me, would you rather marry a single mom that goes to work and takes care of her daughter, or would it be better to marry the single girl that's going to the club with all her friends all the time?
I mean, obviously you want to, in that situation, if those are my only two choices, kind of like Trump, Biden, of course you want to go with the obvious choice would be the woman who's more responsible and is taking care of her kid. But, the true answer is you gotta get to know these women. And
that's what I was getting at. There's no correct answer. You gotta get to know the women. I mean, it takes time. I mean, like I said, it's always funny to me. Like, see, once again, I haven't dated in years. I take Janae and we go out.
Decades. What you mean years, man? Years, bro? Years, decades.
But I really wonder, like, do people even, do they go on dates? And like, I always hear about like what you're talking about, the girl that's like, don't take me to no Cheesecake Factory for a date. And I'm like, dude, if a woman ever told me not to take her somewhere for a date, except
Exactly where we
except like McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I think I told you I went on when I was like 13 or 14 years old. You know, I went on a date with my mom. She's like, okay, we're gonna go on a date. Okay, you know, she's like, where do you want to go? I was like, let's go to McDonald's. She said, don't you ever take a woman to McDonald's. And you know, but she showed me how to date, you know, which I think was a good thing. But did I go out and spend a ton of money on women? No, my dates were, you know, we talked about it, ice cream date, go for walks. You know, I wonder if people now are comfortable going out for a walk, because if you go for a walk, you got to talk. You know, if you go to the movies, you ain't got to say nothing.
Yeah, you got to interact. They're afraid to interact because they don't know how to do it.
You know, I mean, if you go someplace that's crowded, there's always distractions. But, you know, if you go someplace one-on-one, you get to know somebody, you know, and that's where, you know, and not no Netflix and chill at the house, because that's, you know, like
that's sexy time. That's sexy time.
If we went somewhere like that, she knew. Like, I mean, we were dating, she would scoot away like, nah, we're not doing that. She'd be trying to get up at the house real quick. And, but no, really, I think that's part of the problem is they spend too much time watching these shows and not enough time actually getting to know somebody. Well, the book says, or so-and-so said, DL said, Jay Swan said, if I go for walks, then I'm going to find my perfect woman. No, you know what I mean? But it's harder to hide being a crackhead if you're talking every time you guys go somewhere.
Dang, you know that's a fact, bro. And I'm thinking about the numbers thing too. Like, you know.
Oh, the numbers thing? I think that's just stupid, man. I mean,
but hold on. But hear me out. Because I know us. And I'm not asking you. I'm just saying when we're done, I need you to sit down and think about it.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? You think about the numbers that you had prior to meeting your wife. And I'm just gonna leave it there. You know what I mean? Because okay, yeah.
But here's the thing. Yeah. Here's the thing. There was never, I'm gonna go out and do all this stuff and do this and this. You know what I mean? Like we talked about it. I was always, you know, I wasn't messing with a lot of women, but I had quality. You know what I mean? I didn't have time for. There was very few chicken heads. You know what I mean? It was
very few chicken heads, but dude, it was quality. I give you that, but it was a lot of quality.
Yeah, I mean, it was quality. I mean,
but it was a lot of it.
But put it this way, every woman that I actually dated, they were. If you sit back and you think about it, because you've been around a couple, they were all similar personalities. You know what I mean?
I'm with you 100%. All I'm saying is,
no. My point is like, if it wasn't for the silly shit that I was doing, you know what I mean? There was at least one other woman that, you know, I probably.
I'm not, and I get that. What I'm saying is, but my thing, I get where you're coming from, and I agree. But my point is, like, Myron Gaines never would have made this statement if someone didn't ask him. It wasn't like one day I came up with this da-da-da. No, someone asked him and he said, this is what I think you should have. And you could actually, when he actually did it, you could see him thinking about it on camera. Someone asked, that's how this shit got out there. So it's not as if he's going around. And my point is, he's on to something. You know what I mean? You do need the experience.
But there's lots of people that, I mean, there's lots of Mormons that abstain from sex until marriage. You know,
there's a lot of Mormons that don't,
and that don't.
That's the thing that gets me.
So what I'm getting at is like it still goes back to the individual thing. You know what I mean? Like I really believe that if I would have met Naya, because I tell you the one thing about Naya is that she was different, personality wise. She was the same. You know, I mean, like I like a certain type, but the way that she handled me was different than every other woman that I dealt with.
And I'm with you 100%. And I'm not because
I mean, my thing is, I think that if I would have met her, and I'm saying I've known her now for what, damn near 30 years now. If I would have met her in high school, okay, I feel like I would be in the same position I'm in now because she is the perfect person for me. So that the numbers thing, okay, here's the thing. Here's what I'm getting at. The numbers thing, it really doesn't matter if you find what you're looking for and you're mature enough to be prepared to handle it, then you'll be fine. If you're not mature enough to handle it, because you do have to say no. You know what I mean? You do have to say no.
I'm not disagreeing.
Okay.
I'm not disagreeing. What I'm saying is the experience changed you and molded you into a certain way. If you didn't have the experience of being with however many, the zero that you were with, right? If you didn't have the experience of being out there, I would argue you would be a different person. And maybe, I mean, this is one of the things we could argue into infinity.
Well, you know, I can't answer that because any experience, well, you know, I can't answer that. I mean, because any experience will change. You know, I mean, that's like saying, you know, I've driven, you know, I've driven, you know, 50 cars, and Mercedes is the best car. You know, I mean, I haven't driven every car. You know, if I drive 51 cars, I might find another car that's better. But here's the thing: if I drive one car, if I drive two, the second car might be better. The thing is, I'm mature enough to know that, you know, hey, this car here, I like it. I'm comfortable with it. This car, that one looks nice, but you know what? I'm happy here. So, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I mean, do experiences change you? Yes, completely. But I don't know. Like I said, I just think that, you know, you have to go out and sleep with a certain amount of women before you decide, you know, before you can be married or make it. I think that's just dumb. I think once you find what you're looking for, I think it's more. I think it's this. How about this? You have to be mature to handle it. Now, does having multiple women make you more mature? I don't think so, but some do. But I think it comes down to maturity.
A maturity plays a role in this, absolutely. But our friend in Atlanta, right? Our beautiful friend from the West Coast that we met in Atlanta.
Are you talking about, you know, Kat?
A little shorty. I ain't want to say her name, but, you know, well, I don't even know her real name. That's her nickname.
We don't know. Yeah.
I don't know, but little shorty, right? I learned a lot that weekend. And moving forward, that for my experience being around, knowing her, I learned a lot. Like, damn, it's people that move like this. Not even just females. It was like, damn, it's people that move like this. You know what I mean? So that did add to my experience. And I'm like, cool. I definitely would have, you know what I mean? Like that was one of those pivotal moments. You know what I'm saying? So if I were a guy who never, like if I was a virgin and then I ran into an old girl, I would absolutely, I mean, she was, come on, bro. She was absolutely stunning. Beautiful woman. Yeah,
beautiful.
Cool. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, she probably went on, got married, had some kids or whatever. And I'm pretty sure her husband has no idea what she was doing. You know what I mean? Back then. Yeah. Ignorance is bliss. But I'm just saying, it allowed me to see certain things. Like the stuff that I was seeing in Cincinnati after I got out of the military. I'm like, damn, what good girls were doing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you're right. It comes down, there's a level of maturity, it's a level of understanding that I have where my counterpart who has less sexual partners, if any, he will see the same woman, like, she's really the good, like this Andrew guy, not to shit on him, but it's just like this dude is probably with a woman who was, I might have smashed it. This dude's from Michigan. You know what I mean? So we were, you know, I went up there a couple times. So it's one of those things. Does it change his situation? No.
This is where maturity comes in. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be worried about, you know what I mean? If this is who you want to be with, you shouldn't be worried about who else she's been with. Unless, we talked about this, unless one of your boys comes up to you and your boys will tell you and be like, you know, hey, I heard that she might have been in Atlanta, you know what I mean, doing this. Your boy, especially if he sees how much you care about this woman, he'll come to you with something. If he knows, he'll do, part of the vetting process is your boy's making that call. You know what I mean? Yo, did you hit this? Or are you talking about, you know, you heard or blah, blah, blah. You'll send me the picture again.
Right. Now here's a picture, like, okay, here's a picture. I got 4 different pictures with her and she's in Miami with Fresh. Fresh is my dog, but these pictures, he smashed her, bro. Yeah. You know what I mean? Did he tell you? He didn't have to tell me. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but you know what I mean? I'm not going to come at you with, you know, I heard this rumor that, I mean, I think it was her, you know what I mean? Nah, you know what I mean? It's not gonna be like that. And but that's part of the vetting process. You know what I mean? Does it matter? Yeah, you know what I mean? Nobody wants to hear that their girl was doing porn except Josh Smith. You know what I mean? He married her. You know what I mean? But nobody wants to hear, and nobody.
So many dudes like that, man. So many dudes like, and see, that's the thing too. That's where the maturity comes in, because that basketball player surely had over 50 bodies before he met her, right?
Yep.
So simply because you reach those criteria, it still don't. It just, what Myron was saying is like, he was like, I believe that these bullet points will at least put you in a position where you can choose, and you know a little bit of something, so you can kind of see through some stuff. And I'm like, okay, I see that. You know what I mean? But it's also, what you're saying is also true. You can get a guy who's just like mentally there, like really strong,
Yeah.
extremely mature for his age, and probably get to the same result. Possibly, you know what I mean? I get that.
Like I say, you know, you got pro athletes that spend their whole lives, you know what I mean, training to be a pro. Like, and it's not about their skill level, it's just that they have the mental fortitude, they know what they want, they're focused. So, you know, if you got guys like that, you have guys like that in every career field. You know, you got guys like that getting married that know what they want, they're laser focused. You know, I don't have time for this, that's a distraction, I'm going over here. So, I mean, but, you know, once again, I think it comes down to maturity. I don't think you could put a number on it. Do you have to have experience? I would say experience dealing with women. You know, I mean, I don't know specifically, it has to be sex specifically, but, you know, I think that you should be able to go out and spend time with women, talk to women, understand. Well, you'll never understand women, but,
no, exactly.
You know, understand the nuances in relationships and that sort of thing. I don't think you should marry the first person you meet. You know, I don't think it should be like that. I just think that, you know, okay, so put it this way.
But some people do.
Maybe sex is the wrong term to use. Maybe it's you need to be out in the world having dealings with different people. Women should be dealing with different men. Men should be dealing with different women. Because how do you know? But as far as like the specific, I have to have sex. You know, I have to have sex in order to be a better person. No, I don't believe that.
I would say not necessarily be a better person, but I would say you would have to. I agree with everything you're saying. The only caveat I would add to that is you're gonna have to smash a few, because it's not enough just to be dating them, especially when you're young. You're gonna have to actually see what you figure out what it takes to, just so you know what it's gonna take to get there. How many? I know you came across a few, and I came across a few women that were like, "No, you can't get this." The 3-day rule, right? The vast majority of women fit into the 3-day rule, but the ones who didn't, now as an older guy, I'm like, yeah, those are the ones I really should be trying to get at.
Yeah, but I mean, but why does the actual sex have to play a part in it? Because I think because the sex part is just, I mean, it's sex, but I mean, it's the understanding how to develop a relationship. You know, how to be intimate without, you know, it's all about got to get the sex, got to get the sex. How to be intimate. You know, I mean, just basically how to deal with a relationship. Let's put it that way. I think it's more important to learn how to deal with relationships. Sex is an important part of the relationship to most men, I would say. I don't know if it's the same for women, because I'm not a woman. You have to ask a woman if sex is like, you know, if that's a major part of it. But I think that the sex is only, okay, let's say you have sex every day, okay? You have sex every day in your relationship. Okay, there's still 23 hours in a day that you got to deal with this person. So what's more important, having sex with them or learning how to communicate? And I think
they're
that's
equal. I think they're equal. I ain't gonna lie to you. Now, I can say this. I can agree with you to say, all right, and even Myron, if he was sitting in on this conversation, he was like, bro, the number doesn't have to be 50. And he said that, like, he was like, it just, but you need to have that experience. I believe that it's important for a guy to have a few sexual encounters with women as part of getting to know and being socially aware, because I think it's important, bro. I think the dude should understand that.
I just understand why, because once again, that, you know, there's still 23 hours left in a day. and you could be, I mean, you could have the greatest sex in your life and the person is, you still got 23 hours in a day to deal with it. And I think that, I mean, I said, I really feel like it's more important to learn how to interact, to learn how to communicate, to learn how to.
Well, here's a scenario. I'm with you. So hear me out on this. Why is it important to have sex?
Yeah.
You might, as a guy, realize that sex is more important than a relationship. You might be that guy, like, I just got to smash. Or the opposite could be true. Once you actually smash, you might realize that, all right, sex is great, but I really just like walking in the park with this woman. I really just like the fact that she gets me and she finishes my sentences or whatever the hell it is. You know what I'm saying? But if you just go meet a woman, I love her, we go through the whole process, you never have sex, then you have sex with her, and it's like, shit, I really like smashing. I want to go smash other people. Wouldn't that have been nice to know before you decided to basically lie to this woman?
I've often said, you know, I mean, like, I don't have a problem with sex before marriage. I have no problem with that. So I mean, if you're doing that, then I mean, right there. You know what I mean? Like you had
But
sex.
that's to answer your question. Why is it important to have sex? I'm not saying you got to go smash 50 women or 80 women or 15 women, but you got to smash some women so you can figure out who you are. Like, all right, bro, there are guys out there who just want to, they just want to smash, bro. They just
I mean,
wanna,
like I said, I think it's, you know, what I mean, I mean, obviously, sex is important to you. You know what I mean? It's not as important to me in a relationship because I know there's going to be times where things change, people get sick, things change in a relationship. But the one thing that's not going to change is you're going to have to communicate. And I think a lot of people just don't. They spend so much time worrying about, like you said, this. I gotta have sex, that they miss the important parts of the relationship. Like I said, there's 23 hours left in the day. What are you gonna do with those other 23 hours?
I get you. And again, I'm with you 100%, but that was the answer to your question. Like, well, why is it you gotta, I'm not saying smash every single woman, but you gotta have some so you can make sure from a personal standpoint, like, all right, it ain't just a sex. So a lot of times you smash your chick. I mean, you've been through this. You smash and it's like, I don't even want to deal with this woman. You know what I mean? Like it's
never buy a car without test driving it. I mean,
and this is coming from a religious man because you ain't really supposed to do that, are you?
No, I mean, I guess not. I don't know. They was doing
according to the man's religion.
According to the King James version, maybe because he was trying to control everything. But I mean, I just think that. See, I think that the thing is everybody's focused on. It's got to. We got to get the sex. Got to get the sex. Got to get women. I think. See that red pill thing. There it goes again. It's got to do this. You're going to get wrecked. You're going to do this and get that. Well, you know what? Stop focusing on the sex so much because women know that that's what they got to control you with. If you a young, horny dude, I keep telling people the most powerful creature on this planet is a 16-year-old girl. Okay. Yeah. And, slow down. You know what I mean? Slow down, take it easy. You know what I mean? Like I said, don't go to the movies because you can't talk at the movies. Don't go to the crowded restaurant because you can't really talk at the crowded restaurant. Spend time getting to know somebody. Like if someone was to tell me, what is, if I wanted to have a relationship, what's the most important thing? What should I do first? And I would say, learn how to talk. That's the first I said, learn how to talk. Okay. Learn how to communicate. Not a lot of people can. Sex, it'll come. If she wants you, it's going to come. Okay. She's going to do it because she wants it as bad as you do. You know what I mean? But once you have that sexual exchange, what comes after that? You could be in love with her. Oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. Oh my God, this is amazing. And she's looking at you like, so, what do you think about the moon landing? We landed on the moon. It's over. It's over. She'll give you a chance because, let's say you got King Dong. She won't give you another chance. But you know what? If you can't talk to her and if you can't stimulate her mind, bruh, she's looking elsewhere. And trust me, she can get King Dong anywhere.
I agree with you 100%. But again, I believe that guys need to have the experience to have gone the distance so they, okay, I know exactly what I'm doing, right? And I can answer some questions within myself like, all right, cool. I'm not a sex hound or I am a sex hound. Like, you know what I mean? I got to keep smashing chicks or I want just one woman. I'm a one woman kind of guy. You're not going to know that until you actually smash. So I think it's important. Now again, when we get into the numbers, we can, you can argue that to the earth stops spinning, whatever, you know what I mean? But
it's funny. It's funny how we differ. Like, once again, people be thinking we agree on everything. And you don't. That's the funny part. Like, we don't. And
we sure don't. Like, we do not. We do not.
You know what I mean? But
the difference between us is we back one another no matter what. Like, whatever you say, whatever I say is fine. We get to the bottom of it. But at the end of the day, like,
with each other, but let somebody else get in the middle. Like, nigga, who you talking to?
That's why we're doing this. That's why we pre-record this. We don't want anybody to get in the way of our conversation.
Like, who you talking to? But it's interesting. I'm sitting there thinking like, and this goes back to the beginning of the conversation. Way back in the beginning about growing up in different ways. I grew up, like I said, with my parents basically in the household until I was almost 18. And then everybody around me. I grew up a suburb kid. Everybody around me was married. I wasn't in grown folks' business, so they was doing stuff like the Desperate Housewives or whatever. I didn't know, you know what I mean? But I grew up seeing this. I grew up seeing, my parents or, Jason's parents or Alfie's parents or whatever, having conversations, having dinner at the dinner table. I'd have dinner at somebody's house. We'd all be eating that dinner at the dinner table to say, I grew up like that. So, my experiences and my view of the world is shaped by a lot of that stuff. When I went in the Army, I don't know if you remember when I was like, wait, they come in different colors? What?
Yeah. I was like,
Because I hadn't seen a lot of that. My exposure was, the suburbs and just like on TV, you look on TV in the suburbs, that's where I grew up at. And so a lot of my ideologies are shaped by what I saw, and I played sports in high school. It was like almost like Revenge of the Nerds. You had your nerds, you had your jocks, you had, that's how I grew up. So my view on a lot of things is based on that stuff.
Yeah, and mine was the exact opposite. You know what I'm saying? So, my background, what I saw growing up was nothing like that, nothing at all like that. So, and people say, well, you was a little realer. I don't know if it was less real or more real. It was just that's just how I came up. That was the world that I was in.
Yeah, it was real to you because that's your environment. People, will be like, see, here's the thing. And okay, here's where it gets interesting. Okay. Where you grew up, people idolize trauma. Okay. They idolize, like people think, oh man, war, just awesome, and Terminator movies are awesome, all that stuff going on.
It was the street. It wasn't the war Terminator movie. It was the streets.
No.
You know what I mean?
But what I mean is just like I'm talking about the chaos and stuff like that.
The streets. Like instead of Terminator, it would be like Boys in the Hood or, what I'm saying? One of those kind of games. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you grew up hard because, you had to make your own dinner. You had nobody around, whereas my grow up was boring. There's no excitement in that. My parents would come home and I'd sit down and have dinner with my sisters and my parents at the table. There's no excitement in that. And people, they tend to gravitate towards all the excitement. But I know lots of people that I've met, that would, I know would kill to have my upbringing. And I didn't realize that it was that special until I was an adult because everything around me was really to the Army. I really thought that everybody, you met most of my family, everybody's married. The younger ones are like in their mid-20s, they're getting married. You work with what you see. And everybody for the most part stays married. There's a couple of divorces here and there, but everybody stays married. That's the world that I revolve in. So a lot of my ideologies are based on that kind of stuff. That's why the whole like having sex with all these women and this and that, it was never a target goal in my life. It's something that going into the Army, getting away from what I grew up with, exposed me to. And I was like, wow, wait a minute. And I'll tell you, sex is fun. It is. So even drinking, I didn't drink till I was in the Army. I was that kid. So, you get exposed to so much stuff. So when you go back, so I guess in the sense of like all these women, this and that, I think exposure to the world is important. Okay. Exposure to the world would be important. Now, sex not necessarily, or, that could be part of it. But I think anybody should have exposure to the world. So that way, one, where you came from. Okay. And two, where you're going. Leaving home and going into the military, it definitely changed me. It definitely gave me a different outlook on life. It definitely helped shape me. But I think being married to a good woman helped make me become a man.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. With you on that. And I wasn't able to choose. I came from a different world. Like, it's
well, okay. Remember when we went to my parents' house up in Jersey that first time? And we get to the house and you were like, just looking around like, wow. I'm like, and this place is okay. Yeah, it works, and you had unpacked everything and this and that. And I was like, what the hell are you doing? What kind of shit? What are we doing here?
I'm getting comfortable.
I'd have my dad explain to me what was going on because it just didn't make sense to me. I'm like, why is he being weird? What is this about? And my dad told me back then, he was like, Lou's never been in a place. He's never been in a place like this. He's never seen family like this. And
fact.
yeah, I didn't know that back then because I was not exposed to the world. It was so different for you. And so I look back and I'm like, okay, so that's where I do agree with the whole you have to be exposed to things. Just not, like I said, it gotta be sick. But it's definitely, one of the things that maybe you should be exposed to. Life is life. So there you go. Just talking, saying.
Yeah, because and that's where we'll never see eye to eye on that one. I'm like, no, you gotta bag a few. I mean, you just have to.
It's a different mindset towards life. I mean, that's what.
Yeah.
Okay, and here's the point of having these type of conversations. Because if you can't talk to somebody about these and have that agree to disagree or see each other's points, then how do you learn and grow from things?
Exactly. Because I see your point, and I think you see mine. It's just like I don't want to do it, and I'm like, I do want to do it. I can't. Yeah, I'm like, nah, bro. I'm sorry. And had I smashed less women, my life could have been easier. You know what I mean? Because I look at some of the stuff, but then it's like, well, I still wouldn't have had the experience. So no, I think I think I'm cool with the path that I chose to walk because I chose to walk.
And that's what it comes down to. There you go. You know what I mean? Like what you're doing, own it. You know what I mean? Own your shit. Don't sit here and try to, well, if I did this, no, just own it. You know what I mean? Like I said, that back to the Trump thing. If you like Trump, own it. I ain't mad at you. I got no problem with you. I got no personal problem. Okay. I don't think Trump is the Antichrist. He's going to destroy the world. I don't think that. Okay. I don't think Biden's an old dude that's going to kill over and destroy the world. Okay. I don't think that. And now, do I think that one is better for the country than the other is? Yes. Do I think if one gets in and it'll take a long time to unfuck the country if he gets in office? I do believe that. And
I mean, if Trump gets in, I got a lot of problems with Trump, but my biggest problem with Trump now is no one, not even Donald Trump, can tell you what he's going to do if he were to get into the White House, and that should scare you. That is a problem. Like we no idea what that guy's going to do, and how are you going to get him out of there?
Yeah, there you go. But I mean, there you go. See, I mean, just own your shit. If you're okay with that, I don't know what he's going to do. He's going to have nobody to tell him no. He's not going to care about nothing. If you're comfortable with that, okay.
Yeah. And like Myron Gaines, huge Trump supporter. Huge. He says it all the time. Like, bro, that doesn't mean that I can't be cool with dude. Like, hey, man, I don't agree with any of that. Yeah. We go back and forth. I tell him why. He tells me why. But I know where he stands. You know what I'm saying? Patrick Bet-David, another conservative Trump supporter. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, okay, I can respect your point of view. Yeah. I don't agree, especially someone like Pat. I'm like, bro, I mess with him all the time. I'm like, that's why you air assault. You know what I mean? Only air assault with back Trump. You know what I mean? Like, and he just get mad. Oh, come on, Saint. Oh, I'm just saying air assault. I mean, I'm airborne, bro. I ain't came back a guy that doesn't care about the country, but
yeah, a guy
that's just a joking.
I don't say how you can be in the military or were in the military and support a guy that all he does is talk shit about the military. I don't understand that. You know what I mean? Like, that don't make no or to be an old person and back Trump, knowing that he's already said that, you know what I mean, like we needed to cut Social Security or raise the retirement. like that don't make no sense to me. Or be a woman to support Trump, knowing that, he's cool with grabbing him by the, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you, or he's been convicted of a sexual assault thing, but he's cool.
But if that's what you want to vote, if that's what you want to do with your vote, I back it. But at least those people that I mentioned can tell me why, and they stand on it. This is why. Okay. Okay.
Here's the thing. Can they tell you what he's done wrong? And that's the difference.
I haven't. That's the one question I haven't asked Myron, but Patrick Bet-David, yes. Patrick Bet-David will tell you what Trump has done wrong.
Yeah. See,
PVD will. Yeah.
Yeah, this is why it's bad, because you don't want to ask somebody that. So what's he ever done wrong? And they're like, well, Biden. I'm like,
we talk about Biden.
Well, Barack Obama. And actually, we had this conversation the other day. One of my neighbors, man, he was talking about that. We're talking about Trump. And he's like, well, Biden. And I mean, you mean Obama? He's like, huh? Well, no, Biden is the president. I said, well, Trump don't know the difference. He be talking about Obama all the time.
Exactly. Oh, well, bro, I mean, come on, bro. Like I said,
here's the funny part too. My neighbors are all older, right? This is the thing that really kills me. So, there's only like 2 or 3 hardcore Trump people here. And the hardcore ones are like, oh, Biden is too old. Biden is too old, right? And I'll be like this. So Trump is not? Well, he's got a lot of energy, and he's got a lot of energy. Okay, so I said, so you're in between Trump and Biden in age, right? And I said, you mix up words all the time. You tell stories over and over and again all the time. Are you senile? And they just look at me because I'm just asking because that's what Trump does and that's what Biden does, and they're both senile. And I said, you do realize the president doesn't. The president is just a face. Okay, even if the president pushes the button, he types in nuclear codes and he pushes the button. You know how many layers it has to go through before those missiles get launched? You know what I mean? I'm like, do y'all realize it's the people that they surround themselves with. And Donald Trump's going to surround himself with Michael Flynn, who basically is a spy for the Russian government that was arrested and pardoned by Trump. Or who else? Bannon, who's outright and said that he wants a civil war and he thinks that America should be divided and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, do you not see this stuff? They just look at you.
Trump's going to surround himself with yes men, and they're all going to be acting because none of them is going to get clearance, and none of them is going to be able to get through Senate hearings. So that's what I mean. No one can tell you what Trump's going to do. Like, and that bit about the president, not being as powerful as people make it out to be, because he's surrounded by people's layers. But he has to choose those people, and he has to choose the people that he listens to. Like with Biden, I guess if the choice is between Trump and Biden, of course I got to go with Biden. But I guess, but again, it's not like you said. It's not a vote for Biden. It's a vote against Trump, and it's just sad that that's where we are. You mean to tell me that that's the best and brightest? These two dudes, like, come on, bro.
If the Republican Party, see, the problem is they can't even run a third party candidate because if they did, that 20% base that will do nothing but vote. The ones that are wearing the Trump jerseys, literally wearing the Trump jerseys, will vote for nobody but Trump. And they know that. So there's no chance there. They can't even run a third party. So I really believe that most Republicans want a different candidate. They really do. They just know
the 80% out there. Yeah, absolutely.
They just can't get anybody else. And then Biden, the only reason he's the nominee and running again is because the Democratic Party is not sure that they could get somebody that everybody will stand behind. But they know everybody will stand behind Biden. And that's
they won't. I mean, it's just that's and
no. Because they're voting not for Biden, they're voting against Trump. They know what they got with Biden. They know what it's going to be. You bring somebody like Gavin Newsom in there, okay? You're going to lose moderates, okay? And just think, Biden wants to sign that immigration bill, which is the toughest immigration bill in history. Like I read through that thing, I'm like, damn, they're not playing. And the Republicans, who were the ones that negotiated it and got 95% of the stuff they asked for, killed it. Okay. So what Biden has done now is he's shown, hey, I'm trying to be tough on immigration, but the Republicans are making it difficult. Okay. So those moderates that are like, it's all about the border. And the ones that have common sense, okay, that are like, it's all about the border. I'm trying to get border stuff done. They're like, dude, the Republicans just killed this. I don't want to vote for Biden, but who knows what Trump will do? Fuck, but at least Biden is trying to do something on that border. And you know what? Maybe if we get him in office and he gets a Congress, then maybe, we can get more people. Whereas Gavin Newsom, that motherfucker, I would say Gavin Newsom is Ron DeSantis West, basically. Gavin Newsom will have everybody driving Teslas and, and nothing.
But Bill Maher makes the argument that if Gavin Newsom were to get into the White House, that he would move.
So he moved to the middle,
more moderate. Yeah, he would move to the middle, become more moderate. Ooh, I don't know if I buy that argument.
No, I think he'd have to get the votes. The problem is that Gavin Newsom is Ron DeSantis West. He's so far because it's California.
But DeSantis is such a dummy. You know what I mean? It's hard to even put him in the same. You know what I mean? Same. I get what you're saying though. Yeah. I get what you're saying. But here's the thing: Gavin Newsom's a sharp motherfucker, bro.
He looks like
a smart dude.
He's a good-looking guy. Oh wait, did he?
Oh, no, did he?
He's a good guy, and he's intelligent. But the problem is his issue is he was the mayor of San Francisco, which is a shithole now. And he's the mayor of California. I mean, he's the governor of California, which taxes are insane and blah, 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 And the issue with California and their taxes is California's just overreached. You know, they're doing way too much too fast. You know, like I tell people all the time, California is a beautiful state and there's a lot to do. I mean, you could ski in the morning and go to the beach that afternoon, same day.
Especially for you motorcycle riders, man. You love getting out there in them twisties.
Telling you, it's like I said, it's a beautiful state. The people out there, I mean, it's a nice place. And the problem is that California is they're trying to go too fast. You know, it's a race to who can be the most futuristic, basically. You know, who can be the most Star Trek, you know, that kind of thing.
I would say that California is too, you know, bleeding heart liberal. They're too. Everyone gets a trophy. Everyone needs to be this. Everyone has rights. And like you were saying earlier before we started with the squatter thing, that shit came out of California.
Yes. As I said, they're trying to do too much. That's what I mean by trying to do too much. You can't save everybody. You know, you can't save everybody. You know, you got to do it piece by piece. You know, California will get, $1 million and say, hey, if we throw $5 million at it, we can fix it. You know, they just throw money like drunken sailors. You know, Florida, on the other hand, they just do dumb shit. You know, we're going to fight with Disney because Disney disagrees with us. You know, we're going to spend X millions of dollars fighting Disney, you know, and then because we're mad. But I'm like, well, wait a minute. I thought the Republican Party is about businesses and freedom of speech and all this other stuff. You know, okay. California wants everybody just to do whatever and hippie live free. You know what I mean? Live wherever, you know, if you like the house, just move in it. That's California. Florida is, if you do anything we don't like or we don't agree with, we can shoot you. That's how far apart they are, but that's how extreme both of them are. You know, and I think that's why Gavin Newsom not in this climate, maybe 10 years from now, Gavin Newsom could be president, but not in this climate right now because it's too polarized. And that's why he couldn't run. And I can't think of another Democrat's name. Like that guy from Nikki Haley. If Nikki Haley would have beat Trump in the primary, Nikki Haley would be guaranteed to be president of the United States.
Yeah. I would vote Nikki Haley over Biden. Not that Nikki Haley's great, like it's talking to you. Every time I'm like, oh, look at this Republican, and you'll point some shit out. I'm like, oh man. But I would still vote for Nikki Haley over Biden if she were running.
I read a lot of her stuff. I wouldn't vote for her over Biden because of a lot of the stuff that she said and done. But if someone is not informed, they don't read a lot of the stuff, they don't do the research, and they just look at Nikki Haley like, hey, at least she's young, they'll vote for her. And there's a lot of people that will go, she's young, I'm going to vote for her. She's not Trump, I'm going to vote for her. The problem is that 20% that supports Trump, no matter what, they wouldn't vote for her.
They weren't going to vote for her.
I watched an interview the other day with a couple of women talking about Nikki Haley, and it was like 5 women, and one of the women is like, well, she's just a bitch.
Damn.
And I'm like,
okay,
what's that about? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, I'm voting for Trump no matter what. Nikki Haley's a bitch because she's not supporting Trump. And I was like,
just a Trumper then.
Yeah, I'm like,
just a Trumper.
Makes no sense. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. That's why you can't. So the only person we can run right now, or they can run, is Biden. And it's always funny to me too when people refer to Trump, they say President Trump, but they talk about Obama, they'd be like Obama.
Yeah,
you ever notice that? Or Bush? You ever notice that? They'll say President Bush. You know, I called somebody out on that one day. I said, how come when you say Obama, you just say Obama, but you say President Bush and you say President Trump, you even say President Obama, but you just say Obama. She said, I don't know why that is. I said, okay, I was just curious.
Hey, I got some ideas.
Yeah, and it's funny because they know
I got some ideas.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But think about it. Next time you watch TV or something, just especially like Fox News, watch how it plays out.
Yeah, Fox News will probably call him Mr. Obama, and then they'll call
they call
Trump.
Him Obama. They
just say Obama.
Yeah,
you watch more Fox News than I do.
Hussein Obama. Oh yeah, I watch all that stuff, man. If you don't know your enemy, how can you defeat your enemy?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even look at him as enemy. It's just I don't watch MSNBC. I don't watch CNN. I'll watch when something comes up. Like I was watching both with the bridge collapse thing with the ship that hit the bridge. Yeah, I was watching both, but it's so like you said, it's so polarized. You can't like now. What I do is when the story comes out, I'll read as many articles I can from like BBC, Al Jazeera, Associated Press. I'll try to get whatever I can and figure it out.
Yeah, foreign stuff, definitely. Man,
Yeah.
you see what time it is, right?
Yeah, I know, man. We got because we're not gonna get through the video, guys. I know y'all probably was like, "Oh, we're gonna talk about this Fresh 50." We have to pause that for some other
We
time.
did talk about it, though. We did talk about it.
No, we ain't get to the good part yet because he really, this guy was saying that Myron and Fresh in the manosphere world is like, well, get to know female nature, get your body count up, get your money up, get in the gym, learn how to socialize, learn how to talk, blah blah blah. The guy, this Andrew guy, was like, no, church is the answer. Church is, this is how we're going to make everybody go to church and and all this. And I was like, that's why I wanted to get to it.
I'm gonna solve all that right now. You ain't gotta get them solve it all right now. Church is not the answer. Getting your money up, getting your body right is not the answer. All right. The answer is be who you are and find someone who wants to be with who you are. Because if you go out there and you try to fake it, well, I'm gonna get my money up and I'm gonna get my body right. As soon as you get comfortable, your money's gonna go down, your body's gonna go down. You are going to change. Okay. The woman is gonna change. She's not gonna stay, she's not gonna be, a 10 her whole life. At some point, she's gonna be a 4, a 3, a 5, or whatever. And you're gonna be doing the same thing. As far as the religion thing goes, you're gonna have gaps in your faith. It's going to happen. You know what I mean? You're gonna have the times that, and hopefully you're strong enough religiously to deal with it. But the bottom line is be who you are and find someone who wants to be with somebody who you are. And that's what it boils down to.
Well, I disagree with you on a lot of that. When it comes to, because they're trying to solve for America's problem with marriage and birth rates and all that. All that stems from the laws, and you know how I feel about this.
Yeah.
The way we interpret the laws in family court. So the Andrew guy was saying, take marriage and take that away from the state and give it to religion. Like if you want to get married, you're gonna have to get married through a church. But if you don't want to get married through a church, and you can't be legally married, and the church will do better than the state with marriage. Because right now, I mean, let's just keep it 100. It's a mess, and people can no fault divorce, and people can walk away and get paid for it, man or woman. If you're the person who has less, if I marry Oprah Winfrey, I can divorce her in 7 years. I'm gonna walk away with a bunch of money, and that's a terrible contract, first of all, to sign. So Myron and Fresh have their prescriptions. Do this and be smart. And then this other guy's Andrew guy's like, well, just take weddings and marriage away from the state, give it to the church, and that'll fix it over time, over generations. I don't think so. I think that what you do is you change the way
nothing funnier than a bunch of young guys in a room that are, in their early 30s or younger discussing, how to fix marriage in the country. They've been trying to fix that shit, marriage on the planet, for what, 1,000 years or something.
That's what religion is about, really, isn't it? I mean, that's what it is.
That's why I said
take away the incentive.
Oh yeah, definitely take away the incentive. I mean, okay. I think you were told me that picket fence or the romance or the Disney romance thing.
Disney fairy tale.
Yeah, all those musicals from the 60s. All the rom-coms. I mean, that's not what the reality is. Like, it goes back to life. Life is hard. You know what I mean? Life is hard. Marriage is hard. Life is hard. Going away from home is hard. Going to college is hard. Everything is hard. Just find what fits you. That's what it comes down to. Find what fits you. Don't try to change who you are to fit a mold. Just be who you are and look for what you want in life. If your thing is, if believe me, if you're a guy and you're like, yo, I'm gonna get all these baddies, I'm gonna get me a baddie, and I'm gonna do this. Okay, do that. If she wants you, more power to you. But if you're not really the guy that she wants you to be, or you are the guy she wants you to be, and all she's doing is sitting around like, yeah, this dude thinks he's running game on me. Michael Jordan's son with Scottie Pippen's
wife. Ex-wife.
You know what I mean? Yep, she's about to destroy him. What I mean?
But here's the thing. But my point is this: that what you're saying is absolutely true. There's nothing you can do to solve for that issue, right? That's like when you're talking about hypergamy, you're talking about guys just being stupid. There's nothing you can do to solve for that. But there is something you can do to solve for the wedding thing, right? You like no fault divorce needs to go. You know what I mean?
So are we talking about like relationships? Or are we talking about marriage?
Now we're talking about marriage.
Okay,
So they were saying so on the Fresh and Fit thing with this Andrew guy, they were talking about relationships and it morphed into marriage. And those to me are very separate. Like you have legal marriage and then you have relationships. And I think that legal marriage needs to be changed and it can be changed. Those are just laws. Those are laws and the way the laws are interpreted. And if people were to vote, dudes, red pill dudes, if y'all get out here and vote for candidates who are going to go in, like again, I'm not a DeSantis guy, but they did away with forever alimony. They made it their mandatory like
that makes sense
50-50.
to me.
Yes.
That makes sense to me. I don't even think, well, I don't know how long it takes.
And
I know in California, I want to say it's like, I don't know what the law is. Never mind, I don't know what the law is. But I don't think it's forever in California. I think there's a cutoff. But
no, if you're married over, I think if you're married for 10 years or more, it's forever alimony in California. It was like
you get half of everything. I know that.
And then alimony, I think again, I'm with you on, I don't know, but I think, yeah.
But I mean, that's just, I mean, yeah, should laws change and this and that? Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm a firm believer of what you came into it with, you should leave with it. Like I said, when I first got married, we were young. And then when our friends started getting married, like in their 30s and stuff like that, I never understood why everybody had like separate accounts and they had the joint account, this and that, but as I've gotten older, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense because, I mean, you're both coming in with your own lives, which to me, it's like, it would be so much harder to be married in your 30s than it is to get married in your 20s because, you're kind of set in your ways in your 30s. Like, it is what it is.
It is what it is. And it is harder because they don't want to admit it, but they're planning for the divorce.
Yeah. That whole, that wide-eyed and, we're going to change the world thing, they've already been, but anyway, but yeah, I mean, yeah, the laws definitely, the marriage laws are definitely, like I said, I don't know enough about them. I never even paid attention to them, but it seems like the family court system period. It's just a mess and they got to figure something out. And like I said, Halle Berry having to pay these, like how do you have the kids most of the time, but you still paying all this money? That makes no sense to me. And, but I mean, but as far as like giving it to the churches and all this, the churches ain't going to do nothing. You know what I mean?
Right.
That don't mean nothing. I think that just the laws are just archaic, like anything else, the laws should evolve as society evolves. And
the laws aren't. The laws are always slow to evolve, and because women are making more money, and again, women are in college and graduating college, and like twice the number of women graduate college than men.
Well, not only that, okay. So if the law says this, okay, whoever makes more money pays the stuff. If the law says that, then we should go by the law. The problem is that man is the one that interprets the laws. You know what I mean? So when the laws get interpreted, and the woman goes in there and she cries or whatever else and says it's the end of the world, no matter who you are, you get that bleeding heart thing. I tell you, the worst thing to happen on this planet are attorneys. That's when some bad attorneys are bad because the law says that if I have you on camera, stealing all the money out of the bank, you are the one that stole the money out of the bank. You know what I mean? Where you get an attorney says, well, if you look at the camera angle, he's not really stealing the money. He's moving it over here. And he's just, come on. I mean, he's a poor guy. He came from a bad family. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. No, you stole from the bank.
Who manufactured this camera? Who manufactured the camera? Yeah. Well, there's a bias against poor black people. And I can prove that the manufacturer of this camera developed these cameras, to put black men in prison.
Exactly. You know what I mean? That's the problem right there because of, family court. Don Lewis, you make $100,000 a year. Mary Jane, you make $100,000 a year. You have a child. You each get them 50% of the time. There's no child support.
That's Florida. I mean? That's Florida. That's another thing that DeSantis did. Again, I'm not a DeSantis guy, but they got that right. You know what I mean? It's like when you go into family court in Florida, it's 50-50. That's the default.
Here you go. And if you're calling the police and, and definitely call, but if we find out that you're abusing the system, how do you know if you're abusing the system? Every time we call, and you've called us like 15 times, there's nothing going on. You're just mad. Or they're doing that exchange thing in the parking lot of the police station where the cameras are, and you got the mom running around and doing this and doing that, or the dad doing this and doing that. you know what? Now you've just lost. You know what I mean? So now you get your custody. I mean, you know what I mean? Like that. I'm not an expert. I'm not a psychologist. I think it's a freaking mess. I don't know how to fix it, but some things I think should be common sense. If you come into a marriage, you leave what you came into it, or whatever you guys have negotiated, whatever, you know, you leave what you came into it. If the man really loved this woman, or this woman really loved this man, you know what I mean? She's not going to let him, you know, go back out on the street and be homeless. Okay. It didn't work, whatever. If she wants to go out there, if you cheat on your person, if you cheat on whoever it is, then guess what? Now you got it. Now you fucked up. They know you cheated. We got video. Well, I was just in a hotel room with her. I wasn't cheating with her. Yeah, well, it looks bad. So guess what?
Shouldn't have been in the hotel. You should bring back. You need a reason to get divorced. File divorce. Now we got like the last 5 minutes here, and then we got to go and tell people how to join air traffic, be an air traffic controller. That's right. This is pre-recorded, y'all. You see the scroll down here below, but we're gonna go live. But
next we're gonna go live, so they gonna play this one, and then
no. This won't go up until I put it up. So it won't go up.
Next we're gonna go live.
They don't know the sequence, but when you watch this. Whatever. Don't listen to him. He's messing me up. Listen, you work with vets. You work with fake vets. You work with real vets.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the real vets. You've seen guys getting punished by, they will say the woman, but it's really the system and the laws. It's not the woman. One of my pet peeves is people sit here and they blame women. It's her fault for this and that. She took this. She took that. She ain't take shit. That's a lady. She ain't got hands. Yeah. It's the system. It's the state that took whatever you lost. They took your house. Now you live in your car, whatever. You know, so the laws, like you said, the laws need to change because you've seen this firsthand. You see people literally living in the woods, living in a car.
Getting wrecked, boy. Tell you sit there. And the sad part is, you know, because, you meet, especially when they're getting divorced, there's certain things, but you meet some of these women and I'd be shaking my head like, you didn't see this coming? Like, okay. All right,
and that goes, and that guy might have had experience, but he just made a bad choice. Because I was gonna say, if he had been more experienced, maybe he wouldn't have seen her. Well, maybe he did have 100 bodies, and he just wanted to marry the stripper, but which everyone knows is a bad idea.
She got him. You know what I'm saying?
She got him.
He got her. You know what I mean? Or yeah, vice versa. He got her. You know, I mean, you sit back and you just look, man. Like, and I got a guy right now that's still paying his ex-wife bills. Dude's homeless, still paying. I'm like, what are you doing?
Man, you ain't got no money. But he loves her. That's another thing too. He absolutely loves her.
I don't think he. Dude, you know what it is, dude? Like, yeah, cats just get caught up, man. Like, it just, that's all it is, man. Like, no matter, there's always one. You know what I'm saying? There's always one. You get caught up, and like we talked about this. If Naya left me or I did something stupid or whatever, she'd take everything. I wouldn't even. And that's just stupid because I'd be in the same boat that the guys I'm helping right now. So, I mean, I guess it could happen, but
you'd be fine. You'd be living with me if it came to that. But the thing is, if you did something stupid like that, I'd be mad at you. But I'm like, I ain't still my homie. But don't mess that up. But anyway, we got a show to do in 3 minutes, bro. Otherwise, we didn't get good until like we were almost finished. Like that last 45 minutes, I think was real good.
We'll do it again. You know what I'm saying? We'll find our time to do it again. Like I said, this is how we talk all the time. Yeah, it's how we talk all the time. So, I mean.
Yeah, it ain't shit to us. Normally we're on the telephone, but now we just doing it on film for y'all. We're never going to do these live. Don't even ask us to. I'm like, well, we're never going to do these conversations.
It won't be the same.
Yeah, y'all mess us up.
They being alive just with some, like, does that even make sense? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would you, does that even, right? We be talking about something, you'd be like, Christmas.
Right. I stubbed my big toe. Like, what? So no, we're doing this when we do Real Talk with Jay Swans. It's going to be pre-recorded, but we may or may not be in the chat. When this thing goes live, we might be in the chat. So just keep that in mind when y'all come in here talking shit.
Be incognito in the chat.
Yeah, be incognito and then like, watching. We could focus on you motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, for real.
Man, yeah, bro. I appreciate it though, man. It was good. I think when we come next time we talk, I really want you to watch this thing with the guy that was talking about the church is the answer and going back and forth with Myron over the 50 bodies.
Yeah,
well, no. I want us to next time we talk, we're gonna watch it live and
okay. Yeah. I won't watch it then. Yeah.
Yeah, don't watch it because it's out there. So so cool, bro. So hey y'all, that's Jay Swans right there. I'm DL Saint.
Wait, hold on. Oh, I did it right.
Yeah, he did it right. There it is right there.
Good as hell,
No.
bro. Damn.
No Diddy. No Diddy.
All right, man.
I'm DL Saint. That's Jay Swans. I hope y'all enjoyed this. We're definitely going to be doing this again soon as we can. Jay Swans is busy as I don't know what, man. Today he had a free day, so we're doing this, and we're about to go live, talk about being an air traffic controller. So when y'all watch that video, be looking for this video because this was going to come out after. I mean, right? Yeah, this is going to come out after the live. Yeah, that's how it's going to work.
What he said, yeah.
So we out. Gotta go. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.